prediction for this game, Don? How do you see it goes, and what's your margin?
What's my margin? As close as we can. I just want to see a really good, even contest today. I want to see the Castlemaine boys dig in, come to play. It's their last one for the year. I know that, everyone says your last game for the year, you're not going to play for much, but I really think that they've got something to prove. They want to show their locals to get behind them next year. So let's hope we get a great performance here and we get a good contest.
Looking forward to this one. It's round 18. Castlemaine and Sandhurst to get us underway. Here's the huntsman, John Hunter.
That'll be Sexton against Butcher. Sexton wins the tap into the path of Noah Walsh. Tries to collect the footy on half forward. Might have got a push too high, either one, and he'll have a free kick. So I'll have the first forward entry here. Noah Walsh. He looked to go sidewards to free, but ignored that. Then he kicks it into the pocket, and he has a player, Lockie Hood, standing alone pretty much, and he'll line them up at goal. Under a minute here. A chance to put the first one on the board, Don.
Jesus, poor marking first up. Noah Walsh missed a fair bit of footy this year, but he'll be a really pivotal player today, and you can see straight away, first contest he's in and under and gets a free kick.
Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Lockie Hood with the footy. He's outside the 50 arc. He'll come and cross now. The man on the mark stands at 38 metres. Kicking to the clubroom's end. He'll get underneath it. It probably holds up in the breeze a little bit. In fact, it clears the pack. That was poor defensive work by Castlemaine. That should not be in a goal, is it?
Certainly is.
Gee whiz, that's unbelievable. We'll get Don Moran to comment on that shortly. Score sponsor, Don Smallgoods. Don is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. 1 goal straight Sandhurst. Castlemaine yet to score, and we've got a minute and a half in this opening term.
It's just a fundamental that shouldn't occur. Goal line, spoiling chance. There was a pack that formed and flew. Ruckman were down there, but it seemed to just evade everybody and go over the top. So really disappointing start to Castlemaine.
So back in the middle we go. It's a little bit wet through the cricket pitch area. Lockie Hood gets the clearance after kicking the goal. Sends it towards centre half forward. Semmons is back there for the Magpies. He couldn't quite take it. Spills off hands. Coughlin's in there as well for Sandhurst. They battle with it at the top of 50. No one able to take any clean possession. Lockie Wright trying to find a way through, was unable to do so, and we'll have a ball up right on the paint of 50.
So Castlemaine yet to go inside 50. Sexton wins it for the Dragons. He tapped it straight to Noah Walsh, who ran on it, then kicks it in the pocket looking for Maxted. That was a nice clean collect. He goes round the body and he goes goalward across the face. Coughlin keeps it in. Handball into the hot spot. Finds Green. Fergus Green gives enough to Nick Stagg. Goes goalward with the left foot, and he hits the umpire, who was standing right next to the point post. And it is, in fact, is it out of bounds on the full, or it'll be a throw in? They're just sorting it out, and Liam Wilkinson for Castlemaine's got the free kick.
So Wilkinson will chip the short pass back into play. He finds the hands of Bailey Henderson. Or if he might be a chance of a few votes in Mickelson Medal Night coming up. He goes to Darby Semmons. Semmons marks it across half back, of course, Castlemaine Jr. Game number 48 today for Darby Semmons at Castlemaine. He bangs it down the line. Spills outwards. No mark taken. Sandhurst have got the ball across the centre wing. It's in the hands of Targe, who had taken over the boundary line. I know it was game 48 for Darby, because he said that with Kyneton dropping out, he didn't get to play his 50th game this year because of the 2 byes.
It's a bit unfortunate, isn't it?
Did you see Darby go up and under then? He just landed on his coccyx.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
We'll give him a little bit after that, Don, this evening. So the umpire throws it in on the Frankie Byrne wing, who used to run wide in the creek. He used to get wet boots. As the ball goes inside forward 50 now. The coach, Hartley, would have been the target. McConaughey. Cal gets on the end of a handball. He'll go goalward. They're open and goes bang. Hits the scoreboard for Castlemaine. Geez, that was a nice bit of play. So it's all evened up here at Camp Reserve. We've gone 3 minutes. 1 goal apiece. Castlemaine versus Sandhurst. Score sponsor, Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, I just think there was a bit of friendly fire there that managed to support Callum McConaughey's ability to run onto that ball. I think it was Tanner Nelly and Cooper Smith clashed, hit the ground, and Callum cleaned up that loose ball and converted brilliantly from the run.
In the middle, the Castlemaine people playing along at home. It's Lloyd Butcher in number 20 today. Couldn't find the number 42 jumper this morning, is what I was told. McConaughey won the clearance, sent it forward, bounced off the chest of Keogh. Then Keogh come raging out, trying to take on the tackle of Wilkinson, and he was unsuccessful in doing so. In fact, it was Caleb Connick. He gets the free kick. Short handball to Walsh. Walsh's kick was partially smothered down the wing. Turned over. Byrne gets it for Castlemaine. Sends it forward. No one able to take clean possession again there. It spills out. Now Connick goes through. Handball to Walsh. Walsh's handball over the top was taken away by Murley. He spins out. Down the line. Tardu's in there for Sandhurst. It spills off hands. A little bit rough. Oh, rising through. Big bump there. Going off the ball there. It was Slingo. Tardu bounces straight back up, but it's good physical contest early, Don.
Geez, yeah, Brad Keogh was unlucky then. I think he didn't have an opportunity to get rid of that football then.
Ball up on the wing, timekeeper's side. Noah Walsh, dinky little handball, went to nobody. Pack forms. We'll have a stoppage here again.
I think the thing is when you run at a player like that, you're probably going to get pinned nowadays.
Yeah, but he picked it up. He had no opportunity to get rid of the ball. So, we talked about the umpires earlier. Just hope for consistency today.
So up they go. Sexton v Butcher. Sexton might have held on to Butcher. In fact, it's going to go the other way, is it? It will. Probably a little bit of both there, but Sexton with the free kick for the Dragons now. True centre wing. Jingle Street side. He'll go shallow inside forward 50. Wilkinson, good strong contested mark. And we've got a player hurt for Castlemaine. He's down. Keep your eye on that, Don. I reckon it's Pedretti.
So Castlemaine get to centre half back for Henderson, who clears the kick out wide. And now it's going to be chased hard for Castlemaine by Tyson Hickey in game number 50 today. Sends it up towards centre half forward. It's picked up. They can wheel it inside forward 50 here. It's a one-on-one in the square. It carries the back and it bounces right to the line for a minor score. Wouldn't have that been a terrific goal for Castlemaine?
Jeez,
it was Greaves that had the kick inside, but it's a minor score.
Yeah, Hartley was a definite push in the back there. Got lucky. I think the umpire was blindsided by the opposition player, so one that Castlemaine got away with there for a behind.
Harrison Friel kicking in for the Dragons. He's at the Galton Street end, the scoreboard end, which sees Castlemaine actually leading by a point. A long kick by Free of the Dragons. Byrne did well defensively for the Magpies. Spills to Coughlin of the Dragons. Ball is in dispute. Tardru picks it up neatly. Goes to Wilkinson. Running on there was Connick. They've got the numbers. Tardru on the end of it. Might have got tripped. It's either a trip or incorrect disposal.
A little bit of both, John.
And it's the latter, and Castlemaine are away.
So Castlemaine, it's Henderson who's been involved early. Gets the kick out wide. Franklin gives it off to Murley. Murley sends it inside forward 50. They've got options at the back here. It carries over the back. And now it spills out to Keogh. Keogh finds space. Fires it goalward. Sneaks it in for a minor score in front of the pack.
Greaves,
I think the goal umpire's called it out of bounds on the full, but the central umpire's trying to say no, it was a point. It was a definite behind, so Brett Keogh gets the point.
Yeah, I was just about to pencil that in as a given then, and absolutely messed that up.
Was it Greaves out the back?
Yeah, messed it up. Son, you put your hand where the sun is, John, don't you, and then get your hands at the ball at the last minute. But he lost sight of it in the sun, and that cost Castlemaine an actual pretty easy goal. They got out the back there.
2-point lead to Castlemaine. They're 1-2. Sandhurst won straight early stages of the opening quarter.
A little bit of panic. When I say panic, when you lose sight of the ball, we just don't know what to do. So Free's invited to play on by the umpire of Sandhurst. He'll send it to the railway side, the railway line side, the creek. Good strong mark, contested.
Not paid.
No, umpire says play on. Numbers are with the Dragons. Spills out at Cooper Smith. Handball goes wide and now it goes out of bounds. And halfway between the wing and left half forward, Castlemaine in attack will have a ball in.
I actually didn't recognise Greaves there. I'm used to him wearing the long sleeve Magpie shirt out there, Don, but he's in the short sleeves today. That's how good the sun is here at Castlemaine.
Always funny here there, Cam.
Some of those players might have some sunscreen on as Coughlin bustles through. Handballs off to Wilkinson. Wilkinson's short pass was okay. Mark taken by Connick hard up against the boundary line. Of course, Caleb Connick won our Bendigo City Framers Best On Ground Sponsors Award last week.
I think it might be Lockie
Terrific
Wright.
Cornets for them. He then sends it down towards centre half forward. Off hands. Free kick might be paid here.
Nice touch though. We did win it, but it was Lockie Wright.
It was Lockie Wright, and that was a great mark by Bailey Henderson. And I've just lost my team sheet.
So Henderson will have it across half back.
So Magpies in possession now. Bailey Henderson, one of the gun players for the Magpies. He'll spread it wide. He's got a player on. Hits him up. Ben McConaughey takes a chest mark. Defensive side of centre wing. In front of Adam, the cameraman there. What a magnificent job he's doing too. It's down the line. Simmons will be the target. In fact, it was John Watson that got his hands on the footy. They looked alike on that occasion, but regardless, he dropped the footy and it will be a ball up.
So it'll be thrown in, centre wing position. Timekeeper's side. off hands. McConaughey tried to go through, of course, got the blue helmet on today. Murley goes in on top of it. He's taken in the tackle straight away by Jimmy Coughlin. So we'll have another ball up. Almost right in front of us here in our broadcast position. Butcher, he won it first, but Sexton got the secondary tap, knocked it down. Jake McLean's kick forward. There'll be an intercept mark for Castlemaine. It's John Watson. So John Watson can look to go into the middle or come down the line. He does the latter of the options. Hartley's going to get the fly and take a big grab right in front of us. He got up on top of Ruff. He quickly wheels around on the right, sends it in the Keogh direction. Just didn't quite get hands to it, Ben Keogh. Or Brad Keogh, I should say. And it goes out of bounds for a throw-in. But what a terrific grab that was. You could see it coming from a mile away, that run.
It was a well-positioned kick by John Watson, wasn't it? And great to see Michael Hartley now crumbing and kicking a goal.
Well, it's gone inside forward 50 off the throw-in. And Hartley, it was a shallow boundary throw-in. He got it on the bounce and put through Castlemaine's second. And well, they're here to play this afternoon. So they move to 2-2-14. Sandhurst 1 straight 6. 10 minutes gone in the opening quarter. Score sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Castlemaine and Sandhurst. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was a really, really great finish by Michael Hartley. Great mark out here in front of us. That might be in the highlight, that one. It was a nice sit and a ride across the back of the defender there.
Jeez. Isaac Ruff was unfortunate enough to be on what they call a poster nowadays, don't they?
Yeah, that's the poster. That's the poster moment. You just don't want to be underneath it.
So Hartley with a screamer and just got the end on the end of one. Castlemaine here to play. Should we blow the siren now because they lead this game? Now it's Coughlin. Well tackled. Good strong work by Huntley. Tied him up.
Okay, riddle me this then. So how come that's not incorrect disposal?
Well, I give up. What's the answer?
Well, Brad Keogh, we'll come back to that point.
As the ball goes inside forward 50 now for the Dragons. They're under a bit of pressure here, the Dragons. Jake McLean was in the area. Hood picks it up. He shovels it over the top under pressure. Castlemaine doing well defensively. Paul Pratt there as well. Umpires letting it go. Murley also. Stagg, and they're all involved. They'll dive in. Paul Pratt manages to stand up with the football, but Franklin does well and collars him for the Magpies. And 45 out directly in front. Dragons are trailing. They are 6. Castlemaine 14. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This quarter sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine.
Up at the top of the 50, and it goes straight back down for another ball up.
You mentioned early, John, about that spot right in front of the goals. It's a bit slippery. They're a bit not sure-footed there, are they?
Definitely not.
Watching the under-18s and the reserves earlier, there was certainly plenty of players slipping around. Murley goes in over the top of the footy, and umpires pulled a free kick out against Murley. It's going to Murley. Must have been taken without the footy. Not sure. Did you see what that one was called for, Don?
Yeah, he was first at it and, got a head high.
So Murley kicks it shortwards to Moran. This is Will. So Will Moran's got it. We'll look to go down the line right in front of the Sandhurst coach's bench. Bryce Curnow floats in front. Couldn't quite take the mark. It's knocked to ground there by Jackson Hood. Now Sandhurst emerged with the footy. It's banged inside.
It's on here. It's on here. Stagg. Hartley's having a bit of a
At Island.
time.
You watch that. John Watson's marked the ball. It's on this centre wing, and Castlemaine have then cleared it across the far wing. And they're going to have to clear it back into the middle here, the Magpies. As it is still going a little bit there. It's in the hands of Bailey Henderson. Henderson switches to Darby Semmons.
Semmons now. He'll look to go to Hartley, who's just got up from a blue, so he's probably puffing blowing a bit with Ireland. They both probably said, let's have a dead heat because it's just going far too long. Wharton now spreads it wide for the Dragons. Hits Maxted. Good player for the Dragons on the left half forward, hard up against the boundary line. And what a beautiful weighted kick. He spotted up a teammate deep in the pocket, and that teammate, of course, is Fergus Green.
It's still going on here. Now Isaac Ruff's having a bit of a go. So get in there, Brad Keogh, and give your teammate some support.
You keep your eye on that.
Sorry, John, that was a playing moment.
And he does just that.
That was a playing moment, John.
You turned into a supporter then for a minute, Don. But you're probably right. He needs to get in there. Fergus Green wheels and goes. He goes goalward. It's not going to be straight. It is a minor score. So they've hit the scoreboard finally after kicking the early one. They're 1-1-7 trailing Castlemaine. 2-2-14. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
I'll see Castlemaine bring the ball back into play quickly as they so often do. It's marked across half back. They'll look to go into the middle of the ground here, the Magpies. But they're certainly on early. Kick is going to be a turnover. It's a free kick which is paid to Jackson Hood. So Hood's got it. He quickly plays on. Sends it up towards a one-on-one at the top of the 50. Greaves got the sick, couldn't quite bring the ball down. It spills to the back. Tarju's got him covered for pace. He motors past Greaves and then he goes to ground and he picks up the ball cleanly. Got a free kick, but he still got up and went quickly to Smith. Smith handballs to Curnow. Curnow then handballs into the middle of the ground. It's taken by Walsh. Walsh fires it wide to Tarju. Then Tarju's got Wharton in a paddock of space on the close wing here. Timekeeper's side wing. It's in the hands of Wharton. He's going to slow it down a little bit. He'll chip it short and he'll find its way into the hands of Cooper Smith.
Cooper Smith on the wing now. He'll go short, tries to spot up a player. It was on, but the numbers with Castlemaine ended up with Pedretti of the Magpies. Good fist there by Sheen of Castlemaine. He just burst through the pack. Keogh dives on top of the football. Wharton dives on top of him for the Dragons. It's not going to be a free kick. There's a bit of spite in this game here. I'll tell you what. One thing for certain, Castlemaine's here to play, Don.
Yeah, it's good to see, isn't it? We just need a little bit more footy in hand, John.
They do. As a hurried kick now out of the pack. It came from Huntley. Huntley for the Magpies sends it to left half forward, but it bounces unfortunately and ends up with Keating. Keating to Smith. Smith will spread it laterally to Connick. Connick now on half back for the Dragons, who look to bring it down the railway side. Woodman did well defensively and shoved Noah Walsh under the footy, but Walsh was good enough. Merges with the footy. Handballs it to Hood. Hood of the Dragons goes forward inside, forward 50. Good strong mark. Kobe Maxted right in front of his eyes, and will line them up right in front of the ladies at the canteen.
I agree with you there. Nick Woodman did everything other than just run it over the line or see it over. And now we've got a shot on goal by Kobe Maxted in front of the canteen.
Elaine McCann looking on
Let's
from the
hope she's
canteen.
putting him off, John.
Let's hope so. She might bring you over you a hot dog if you keep this up there, Don, as the footy is with Kobe.
It's not a bias call at all, is it?
No. It's like the Blues radio, isn't it, at the moment? So Kobe Maxted, what a magnificent kick. And it's straight through the middle from 50, and that probably straightens Sandhurst up a little bit because they were failing for a bit. 2-1-13, they still trail 2-2-14. Score sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's a beautiful kick from that spot there. The last time I saw a kick like that, John, wasn't your leg. It was Stephen Oliver's favourite spot to slot it from front of the canteen. And he looked like over the time he got a few hot dogs for free off Elaine. Hope he's listening.
Not the only thing he would have got for free back in the day, Stephen Oliver, would it?
Hope he's listening. He might be here.
He might be.
Hope he is.
So back in the middle we go.
Don't worry about us reminiscing, Cam.
Well, even a Sandhurst goal leads to comments about Castlemaine at the moment. It's Castlemaine radio, as you mentioned. Nelly goes up, wins it down. Tarju bangs it inside forward 50 for the Dragons. Comes off hands, but it spills out. Noah Walsh picks up the ball on the left. 15 out directly in front, puts it through as quick as you like. Sandhurst back in front. Noah Walsh gives the celebration as well. And the Dragons get their third. They're 3-1-19, Castlemaine 2-2-14. And straight out of the middle they go. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So, yeah, sorry about that, Cam. We've got the Castlemaine glasses on. But, geez, Noah Walsh's power run there. Started in the midfield and made his way forward and finished off beautifully on the left foot. So
and now back into the midfield.
Yeah, back in the middle. So he's a power runner. They'll love having him in the side and being hopefully ready to go for the final series.
This is why they're so good, the Dragons. And the only reason we've got our Castlemaine glasses on is because they're being competitive. And they're competitive here. Ben McConaughey wins it out of the middle. He'll send it wide right in front of our broadcast truck here on the half forward flank. Over it goes. Ruff did well for the Dragons. Stepped over the boundary line. Cam's looking at me like a puppy dog because he wants to take it because it's only about 2 metres away.
He might get the names right then.
He might.
Be throw in right in front of us in our broadcast position.
He's only got 5 wrong today so far, and he's all right.
One down by Butcher into the hands of Hartley. Just got boot to ball. Ruff to Walsh. Walsh to Tarju. Tarju's kick. That's a beautiful kick into the hands of Hood. Hood can move it in the middle of the ground for Carraher. Carraher gets it, but he's going to have to hold it up because he's right in the glue pot of the cricket pitch. Quickly wheels out wide. He's got Curnow streaming down the far wing. Curnow takes the mark. Will then chip the short ball up towards St. forward, but it's found its way inside forward 50 here, and it's in the hands of Connick, I think it is down there. He then chips it into the pocket. Mark taken again for Sandhurst, and they'll line themselves up from a similar spot to where Maxted kicked that last goal. And a chance for Sandhurst to go bang, bang, bang with 3 quick ones. It's Jake McLean, who's almost in the same spot as where Maxted kicked from before.
Yeah, well, let's see if he can mirror that. So it is, I would say, you're probably a little bit closer though, Cam, but a very similar spot.
So McLean comes in, on the right, goes Goalwood and slams it into the right-hand goalposts. So not quite finding its way through, but it's an increase in the lead. It's 3-2-20 playing 2-2-14. Score sponsor, Parsons Towing in Castlemaine.
Castlemaine won't muck around. They'll kick in from full back. It's a long kick. Tardrew dropped a mark he ordinarily would have taken, but Ireland showed support. Then dished it off by hand. He gave it to Coughlin. Coughlin of the Dragons kicks a forward into the forward pocket. And a good strong mark. It's been taken by Connick. He just plays on, steps around far too easily. 2-3 plays and then goes Goalwood, but it hits the top of the square. It was a poor kick in the end, and he hits Brodie Byrne on the chest. Turnover. Castlemaine now have got possession of the footy.
So they clear it out. It'll find its way to the back where good use of the body by Hood. He quickly gets and emerges, but he sends it up towards centre half forward. But Isaac Ruff was there in a bit of space. They work in the middle of the ground and find Tarju on the cricket pitch here. Camp reserve. It's almost cricket weather with the sun shining at the moment. He bangs it out wide. They're content to go down the right-hand side today, Sandhurst. Mark taken by Walsh. Looking for an option short. He'll then send it inside forward 50, but a good punch in front of Maxted takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in. And that was
Riley Pedretti, yeah, great defence reaching around.
Pedretti.
Yes, very good defence. Great lead from Kobe Maxted. But yeah, they're honouring the space with Sandhurst, aren't they? Breaking to space and kicking to the player in space.
Just in front of the Canteen, hurry kick by the Magpies defensively. Goes to the wing, finds Keogh. Keogh now trying to get involved in the game. Short pass forward. He's got McConaughey, Cal McConaughey running forward. Jake McLean did very well defensively. Got a punch in there. He's caused the turnover. Ball ends up with Noah Walsh right hard up against the boundary line. Cal McConaughey did well in the contest, but then he gets collared as well by Tanner Nally, and it eventually goes over the boundary line. 70 from home. Castlemaine in attack. They trail by one straight goal at 6 points, 20 playing 14. Where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
That moment was definitely a moment of Callum McConaughey's come to play. He's kicked a goal already, and I love his 3 efforts there. Probably close to getting a free kick.
So throw in, 70 metres out from goal. It'll hit the point of the square, this throw in. Sexton won it down. McConaughey tried to go through, came off hands. Tarju emerged with it. He'd been everywhere early. Another one of those contenders for a Mickelson medal. Sends it down towards Maxted. Off hands. Picked off by Sandhurst. They'll send it inside forward 50. It bounces out to Stagg. Stagg picks up the handball. Now they'll wheel it towards the top of the goal square. It's got Keating on his own if it can get there. And coming back at the last second, making the punch. But it spills out to Joel Wharton. Wharton dribbles the goal. Thought it might have been a free kick, but it was Watson that put on the defensive pressure. But in the end, it spills out and Joel Wharton dribbles through the goal. Right spot at the right time. Sandhurst 4-2-26, Castlemaine 2-2-14 as we approach quarter time. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott Builder.
Yeah, it was a very good spoil, but yes, could have definitely gone that way with the free kick, but still resulted in a goal for Sandhurst. Just out on the far wing, Riley Pedretti's effort, but it was 1v3, so I'm not sure where the Castlemaine support was there.
Back in the middle, it'll be the restart. It'll be Butcher against Sexton. Butcher probably won it on that occasion, but put it down, straight down the throat of Hood of the Dragons. Kicks it now to Stagg. Stagg halfway between the centre and half forward. Swings it wide, shallow inside forward 50. Liam Wilkinson runs on the ball and does a left footer to Hickey for Castlemaine. Comes off the ankles. Unfortunately, it might be out of bounds on the full. No, it might have been just in, and we'll have a ball in. Outer side to us anyway. It's on the Creek side, the Railway side. Castlemaine trail by, that's 12 points now. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Sexton got the win down in the ruck. Taken for Sandhurst. They work it to McLean. McLean sends it high inside forward 50. It spills out the back where Fergus Green used his body well. Goes goal side and dribbles through another one. And while Castlemaine challenged him early, but Sandhurst is starting to flex a little bit of muscle here at the Camp Reserve. They're out to a 3-goal lead in the blink of an eye. 5-2-32, Castlemaine 2-2-14. Fergus Green's got goal number 77 on the board this season. He is going to win the Ron Best medal this year. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
All those goals have come from stoppages, the midfield and how clean they are, and they just seem to have great chemistry, don't they, Sandhurst? They find one another and exit every contest brilliantly. So those 4 quick goals have come from stoppages and stoppage domination.
Brilliant answer by Sandhurst. Just goes to show why they are sitting on top of the ladder here in the Bendigo Football Netball League. Castlemaine, they just need to get back onto that hard game they were playing early on, as we're going to have a secondary ball up. Little bit of a glue pot here, Camp Reserve, but absolutely bathed in sunshine after heavy rain overnight. Hood's been pretty good this afternoon for the Dragons. Did well. Emerging with the footy was Coughlin. He goes to Wilkinson by hand. He goes to half forward looking for Jake McLean, who'll run onto the footy. Got a poor bounce. John Watson swoops on it now for the Magpies. He'll go to half forward. Curnow will offer support for the Dragons and cleverly taps it over defensively. And across half forward for Castlemaine, Curnow did well. They are leading this game, 32 playing 14, the Dragons. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, almost quarter time here at the Camp Reserve.
It's an able set up with Lockie Wright going forward. He's played a lot of defence this year. I like seeing Bryce Curnow marshalling behind the ball for Sandhurst.
Throw in. 55 out from goal. Sexton got there first as the throw-in was a little bit more favoured to the right-hand side, but it's tapped over the boundary line again for another throw-in. So a repeat boundary throw-in. Far wing. A lot of the game today has been played down this railway side ring. Especially when Sandhurst have come out of defence, they've really wanted to attack that wing. Boundary umpire will throw the ball back into play. He takes his time and sets himself. One down by Connick as
Sexton.
For a throw.
Won it down, I should say. It was a free kick against. So it's going to go the way of Bailey Henderson, who's 55 out from goal. Looking for something inside forward 50, but it's not a lot going on, so he's just going to wheel it to the hot spot. Goes right to the line. In fact, it might nearly carry the back for the goal. It's a mark to Curnow on the last line. No, the goal umpire's called a point. That's not a point. He's marked it, and then he crossed the goal line. That has to be a mark.
He doesn't know what he's doing, Don, does he, the goal umpire?
Look, I just...
that has to be a mark.
I just saw him tap his chest, signal a point, but then signal a goal.
He signalled a goal. Bryce Curnow cannot believe it. Bailey Henderson has kicked the goal. I'm not sure what to make of that. There's no way that ball crossed the line.
And there was no fumble, so it wasn't going to be a behind from a second grab over the line, was it?
So Bryce Curnow is asking the question of the umpire, but, you know, the umpire's never going to change their mind. And while Bailey Henderson has got himself on the board, Curnow is absolutely fuming. It's 3-2-20 playing 5-2-32, very, very late in the first quarter. And it is a 12-point lead to Sandhurst. Score sponsor Parsons Towing in Castlemaine.
Let's see them come again, Castlemaine. Let's see them kick another one and bring this result back a little bit closer.
You said umpires don't change their mind. Well, they did, Cam. I'm here to tell you.
Well, it must have been the central umpire that overruled him. But how can the central umpire overrule when the goal umpire is standing right on the goal line?
He called a point, then he called touch, then he called a goal, then he called a point, and then the central umpire overruled. And by the way, I reckon it was a mark. I reckon it was neither.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 100% it was a mark. We've got the perfect spot to see that one.
Darby Simmons now wins it in the back half. Kicks it to Henderson. Henderson by hand. Got a player running a shotgun in Sutherland. Sutherland, poor kick. Turnover. Kicked it straight to Tananelli of the Dragons. He's on the true centre wing. Jingle Street side.
And that's the difference there, John, being able to hit your targets.
Nelly, he'll go inside forward 50 for the Dragons. They'll set themselves. Ball spills. John Watson did well. He's tied up for the Magpies in his defensive zone. 20 playing 32. 12-point margin. Dragons lead. Must be almost quarter time. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's been a very long quarter here. One down by Butcher. It's Shark by Coughlin. Coughlin will send it right to the top of the square. Fergus Green got the fly. Couldn't quite take the mark. Comes off hands. And slamming into the post is Simmons. And Castlemaine will quickly bring the ball back into play.
Will Moran gets on the end of the kick in from fullback. Right in front of the club rooms. Camp Reserve.
Oh, he's overkicked
Short
it.
pass. He overkicked it, overcooked it. That's enough from you, Don. As 2 games in a row now, you're going to have to scold him. I reckon he did a poor kick last time we were here, but let's not dwell on that. Some pretty tough judges up here. Bodie Byrne wins it now for Castlemaine. Spreads it wide. Keogh is the target. Oh, cleverly. Over the top now. They're out. They'll have to go forward. A pass to Hartley. Hartley's got Greaves running into the forward pocket. Doesn't kick it to his advantage. It was a poor kick. Free. Juggles it. And that was a poor result, Don Moran.
Yeah, totally. Look, Greaves was in the best position there, and the kick just didn't carry over the top. John?
Freeze kick into the middle. Hartley come and force the turnover. Then he tried to soccer off the ground. Spills out wide. Wharton picks it up. Handball to Coughlin. Coughlin taken in the tackle by Huntley. Crowd screams ball. Nothing doing. Then a strong tackle that's been laid, and it's probably a little bit on the dangerous side. And it's been paid as a dangerous tackle against Harrison Free. So free kick Castlemaine. And, well, I think it's Slingo. He's just kicked it out of bounds on the full. What was he doing there?
No, he got called to play on for some reason. He must have stepped off his line. So, he didn't have much of an opportunity there. It was Riley Pedretti.
And it's out of bounds on the full, so it'll be brought back into play for Sandhurst right in front of our broadcast position. They lead this game by 13 points.
Quarter time, thanks to Shane Cole at White Hills. White Hills 6-6-42. Lead North Bendigo. Well, they've kicked 12, so it's a big margin there already, Cam. 12 behind. Poor old Shane mucked up the points in the goal, so ultimately it's 42 playing 12 as the ball is kicked out of bounds on the full again by Castlemaine.
Now that just landed in touch, John.
Just in touch there, Dom. Must have only been a fingernail in it.
I would say so.
Trying to decipher one of Shane Cole's messages, are you, John?
Yeah, but we're getting score updates coming from right around Central Victoria, so I'll bring them to you after quarter time, which as the timekeepers must be going to sleep there, Cam, because it's been a long quarter, as you've said. It's won by Butcher. Butcher of the Magpies kicks it, but causes a turnover to Curnow. Curnow has got Cooper Smith running. One bounce for the Dragons. Spreads it wide. Puts it in the path of Noah Walsh. The Dragons build. Cross half forward. He's up hard against the boundary line. Railway side. Inside forward 50. They set themselves. Liam Wilkinson. I'd like $1 for every time he does that, Cam. And he'll spread it wide and he gives it to Sheen of Castlemaine.
Sheen does. Hartley comes streaming down the wing. The kick honours the lead. It lands on his chest right in front of the Sandhurst coach's bench. So Hartley just holding things up. He'll tip it short to Sheen, which is about 10 metres further forward. Well, if that's not a mark, then it has to be 50 metres, because Liam Island has charged him and taken it. And what is going on here? These umpires...
I don't think they have... I don't think he
so
knows what's going on.
if it's a mark, then it has to be 50-metre penalty, because Island went through and tackled him. If it wasn't a mark, then it's out of bounds on the full. Either way, Sheehan's received the footy, and he's going to put it out of bounds on the full. In fact, it's managed to straddle that line, but it doesn't matter anyway, because the siren sounds to end a somewhat bizarre first quarter here, and bizarre is the word I'm going with. It is Castlemaine 3-2-20, Sandhurst 5-3-33. A good contest on the scoreboard here at the Camp Reserve.
Thanks to Wayne Smith, quarter time. Pyramid Hill lead 5-1-31 to Bears Lagoon Serpentine, 1 behind. And in that preliminary final in other games, the under-18s, East Loddon defeated Bridgewater 84-23. And in the reserves, Pyramid Hill 52 defeated Bridgewater 35.
Well, good game of footy at least here at the Camp Reserve. It is Castlemaine. They trail Sandhurst by 13 points. And, well, it's an interesting first quarter going on. Bizarre is the word I'm going with. We've seen a few interesting free kicks and a few interesting decisions being made, but we won't touch on that. And around the grounds in a Bendigo footy, looking at other games going on for round 18, Gisborne have got off to a big start, 8-3-51 to Kangaroo Flat, 1-1-7. The Strathfield Saints Storm.
Are they the last few games, are they? That's
I'm going for me. You'd probably say Castlemaine would be more likely to do anything in the finals than what Eagle Orca at this rate, but we'll see what happens. But in the MCDFNL, potential boil over on the cards. It's Trentham 5-2-32 to Harcourt 3-1-19.
Camp Reserve here, round 18. It is the second quarter. Camp Reserve, Sandhurst versus Castlemaine. Sandhurst lead 39 to Castlemaine 20. Here's the powerhouse, Cam Power.
Butcher won it down to Murley, who was tackled by Hood straight away, so we'll do it all again. So it'll go back up. Butcher again, worked Sexton under it, won it forward, but Sandhurst will get the clearance up towards centre half forward. Coming out after it will be Lockie Wright. He was unable to take it. He overran it a little bit. Simmons then had to lay the tackle as Sandhurst will get it back into Wright. Wright then tried to find a way through. Throws being called against Sandhurst. It was Nick Stagg, the offender. Free kick will go to Darby Simmons.
In the early games in Heathcote District Football Netball League, thanks to Wayne Smith, the second semi. In the under-18s, White Hills defeated LBU 50-8, and in reserves, White Hills 50 defeated Leachfield Gumbau 49. So a one-point thriller in the final term there, Cam, for the reserves.
Wow, the Heathcote League has been throwing up some absolute beauties this year, and the final series is so far delivering out there. Simmons' kick went down the line. It was turned over, so Sandhurst will work the ball up towards centre half forward, but the kick will get over the back. I thought Butcher had it covered, but flying in over the back was Wright. He takes it, sends it in the Green direction. Green got the bounce, then got his head absolutely ripped off by Wilkinson, and he will receive the free kick.
I don't want to say it, but that's clever, but in breach of the rules. He knew exactly when the tackle was coming, so what did he do? Dropped his knees.
Wow,
I'll live that all day, every day.
His head would have gone absolutely flying. If
dropped
he was
his
one of
head.
those old-fashioned dolls, the head would have been clean ripped off.
Yeah, bring that footage up and you'll see. That just shows your experience at AFL level and knowing that he's going to get a tackle, so he's going to take himself low.
So Fergus Green, he's already got one today. 1 goal, 1 added to his tally of 76 goals, which now sits at 77. The Ron Best medal winner for this year. He comes in on the right, and he never looked like missing. There's that AFL experience that Don Moran was just talking about, and Sandhurst get their lead back out to 19 points. 6 goals, 3-39. Castlemaine are 3-2-20 early stages. Second quarter, score sponsor, Central Kitchens, Bendigo.
They just need to be a bit better down the line, Castlemaine. There was a free kick given for a hold, so it was a great mark. Also, it was Lockie Wright that flew across. You called Lloyd Butcher in, and unfortunately he misread the ball. Lockie Wright read it better and picks up Fergus Green for his second goal for the game so far.
Restart.
There's $1.
That's the first one of the afternoon, Cam.
I reckon we got up to about $8 last week.
I can't be the superstar and the producer at the same time, unfortunately, as Lloyd Butcher wins the tap. Might be a hold there off the footy. It'll go to the Magpies. It went to Murley. Murley by hand went to Cal Huntley. He goes wide and deep into the forward pocket. Hartley was the target. Cal McConaughey got on the end of a handball but stepped over the boundary line in front of the Sandhurst. The away coach's box, deep in the forward pocket, kicking to the club room's end. Castlemaine in attack. They trail by 19 points. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throw in, caught a dead heat in the ruck, spills down. Tarju's tackled straight away, trying to emerge with the footy. Nothing doing. There will be Butcher, who will go again as the ruckman for Castlemaine. And a consistent ruckman this year for the Magpies. Tarju's quick handball to Hood. Hood goes down the line, didn't quite find its target in right. It spills out the back now. Castlemaine have got Wilkinson playing the intercept role so well. Handballs to Semmons. Semmons sells some candy around Maxted before sending the kick down the line, but the kick will favour Sandhurst. Good mark taken on the second grab there will be Cooper Smith. He goes with a short pass to Maxted. Maxted marks. That 90 out from goal. Will go again with the short option, which is a good kick to Stagg, who knew contact was coming, but he quickly marked it, gave it off. Connick then gets it forward, free, couldn't quite take it. Huntley went through with the bump, then Huntley was able to relieve the handball to Semmons. Semmons thought about going to Frankling. He still does do that, but he's going to be hemmed in by Maxted, who forces the pressure. And we've got a boundary line right in front of us here in our broadcast position. Going to be thrown in. It's the Magpies, trailing by 19 points.
That time he gave me one here, Cam, right in front of us. Right near the play here. Across half forward. Sandhurst attack. It's left half forward. Jingle Street side.
Where are these bubbles coming from?
From a bubble maker, I'd imagine. As the ball's thrown in, it bounced. Lloyd Butcher tapped it to Murley. Murley, a handball that was too hot for Huntley. Huntley's good enough. Manages to get his boot to ball somehow. Goes along the ground to Cal McConaughey. Cal McConaughey sporting a blue helmet this afternoon. A 50-metre ball to the wing. It was good. Hartley turns and goes. He'll go inside forward 50. It's one-on-one. Top of the square. Henderson. Can he get involved? Keogh, a little tap. Cooper Smith wins it for the Dragons. A hurried kick to the outer side wing. It'll bounce into the path of Wilkinson. Wilkinson will let it sit. In fact, he doesn't. He cleverly sees it defensively over the boundary line. Outer side wing.
Oh, it hadn't gone over, and Castlemaine have quickly brought the ball back into play. Boundary umpire signal, but it was back in. Another one of those bizarre moments going on.
In the square
and they've worked it inside forward 50. Greaves has got it. Greaves will then go with an even shorter pass. Marcus taken here for Castlemaine by Tyson Hickey in game number 50. He is about 10 metres out, but he's hard up against the boundary line. Take a good effort from here.
What you see there, Don? Oh, that was out of bounds.
I thought the umpire did signal out of bounds, and then all of a sudden the central umpire... Maybe there was a free kick because the central umpire waved as if to say play on.
Maybe the goal umpire's been moved to the boundary.
Well, let's not talk about the kick from Tyson Hickey because it will be out of bounds on the full. And it will be a free kick to Sandhurst. Bryce Curnow will bring the ball back into play. Last line of defence, club room end of the ground here at Camp Reserve.
So Curnow for the Dragons. Just slowing things down, just weighing up his options now. Now he plays on. He'll go long, beyond 50. Wright did well defensively for the Dragons. Spills to Sheen of Castlemaine. Turnover now. Tardrew receives. Clever handball, working it nicely. Cogman getting involved as well. Now it's Tardrew, picks it up on half forward. He'll go looking for Fergus Green, and he's taken a one-hander. He looked out of the contest, Don Moran, and just managed to clunk it with a one-hand, and now he'll go around the body.
Yeah, the amount of space that Sandhurst had in their forward 50 and got out the back of Castlemaine and makes it pretty hard to play on Fergus Green if you're one-on-one.
Exactly.
It shows his level of skill, and and experience. But, yeah, great mark, great finish. That's 3 now, John, for
It
Fergus.
does, and he did what all AFL players do when they're that close nowadays. He just goes round the body and laconically in the end slammed it through for his third. So Sandhurst go to 7-3-45, 25-point margin, 7 minutes gone. Castlemaine 3-2-20. Score sponsor is Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
You know, and that's the trap. You know, every side wants to play a press, and Castlemaine's press ended up too far forward, pushed up too far, and Sandhurst with their power running got out the back.
Interesting game going on at Canterbury Park. The Bloods have got that back. They're 5-6-36. Eaglehawks 7-3-45. Castlemaine win the clearance here. It'll be sent inside forward 50 from Huntley. Big fly. Carraher couldn't quite bring the ball down. Spills out to Curnow. Curnow back to Carraher, but he slips. Has time to steady. Then he'll chip the short pass into the middle. They handball over the top. Tarju couldn't quite take it. Murley went charging through. He got it. Then he had to ride the tackle from Coughlin. Did well. Fired the handball back to Byrne. Byrne got it on the second effort. Turnover. Free kick. Castlemaine holding the ball. No, it's not. It's going to be a hold. And Brodie Byrne's going to receive the free kick. He'll go out even further wide and he'll find a teammate on true centre wing. It's Harry Sheehan.
Sheen now. Castlemaine. He kicks it forward 30 metres. Hartley slipped over and ran underneath the footy. It's in the defensive zone. Went to Cooper Smith. It was a turnover. Now it's Will Moran one-on-one with Noah Walsh. Comes off hands and they track it towards the boundary line. Right in front of the timekeeper's box here. Sees it over and we'll have a ball in.
And that was that spot we mentioned earlier, wasn't it? It's really slippery there, and unfortunately Hartley lost his feet. But, geez, if he had have stayed upright, I think that might have been a shot on goal that's just gone wanting for Castlemaine.
25-point margin, Sandhurst lead. The ball is thrown in. Up they go. Sexton wins it. Will Moran didn't quite gather. Spilled there in the direction of Walsh. Now it's the Dragons, the backside of the centre circle. They'll kick it forward looking for Maxted, who runs across half forward. Running after the footy will be Wilkinson. Wilkinson cleverly collects. Little handball, a little give. Makes Pedretti work for it. Wright did well for Sandhurst. They push it forward even though they're in the back half here, Castlemaine. Sutherland picks it up now. Hurried handball after pressure. At the 50 arc, Coughlin emerges. He's got a player running sideways. That would be Walsh. Walsh goes long inside forward 50 looking for Green. Sweeping on his Nelly. Nelly goes to Stagg. 2 metre ball. Picked up by Wharton. Garwood on the left and puts it through for a minor score to take it to 46 playing 20. 9 minutes gone. Second term local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Not sure that kick was ever going to be 15 metres there, but
Lucky to be half a
might
metre.
have been gone for a handball in that option. But either way, it'll be John Watson who will bring the ball back into play. And against Castlemaine traditional grain of bringing the ball back in fast, he's going to play in on the right, and he'll send it out wide. Mark taken by Hartley. Hartley in the bright yellow boots this afternoon is 55 out from his defensive goal. Will then send a nice kick down the line. Mark is taken in the hands of Slingo. So Slingo's got it right in front of the tree, which is covered in crash mats here at Castlemaine.
Right next to the work safe sign.
Throw it up towards centre half forward. He does. Spills off hands. I only just got what you were going with there, Don. But Castlemaine worked the ball inside forward 50. Free kick's going to go to Murley, who's been held without the footy. So Murley's got it. He's just inside 50. He'll kick from just outside 50 if he's going to go goalwards.
I've got a feeling the distance might trouble him here, Cam.
So Zave Murley has had a magnificent season.
Kobe Maxted kicked it from there, Don, didn't he?
Yeah, different player.
So Murley will go just inside 50 and he releases the ball on the right. Well, the distance is no worries. The accuracy is no worries either. What does Don Moran know? Because Zave Murley has kicked a goal that Castlemaine desperately needed.
It's always going to happen.
The distance was no worries. The reverse commentator's curse. It's 4-2-26 the Magpies, 7-4-46 Sandhurst. And it's still game on here at Camp Reserve. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers.
Well, I thought they needed a goal to get back in it, so you always go with the curse, don't you? Great finish, though,
Tell us
wasn't
what
it?
you really thought.
Well, yeah, we've seen a bit of footy out there, haven't we? So we've seen some set shots there, and there's 2 there. There was a poster as well, so it seems to be a bit of a spot to score from today. But, yeah, good effort from Zave Murley.
Manageable for Castlemaine. It's a 20-point margin. They trail back in the centre. Restart. Lloyd Butcher doing the ruck work for Castlemaine. He put it down the throat of Slingo, but he was collared defensively by the Dragons in the middle doing a good job. John Coughlin's one of those who grabs the footy now. Grabbed it with one hand and slammed it on the boot to half forward. Hood is the target. Simmons did well from behind for the Magpies. Taps it in the direction of Byrne. Byrne will track the footy. He's under pressure from Wright. Wright did well with the body. By hand, give it to Paul Pratt. Turnover now. Comes to the Magpies. Moran to Simmons by hand. Half back. Oh, it's a
Nice
dangerous
Bailey.
kick, but it's going to pay dividends now. Now they go through Henderson. Henderson goes to Franklin. Ashton Franklin goes shallow inside forward 50 for the Magpies. Tanner Nally did well defensively for the Dragons and killed the contest. And across half forward now for Sandhurst. It will be a ball up. It's a 20-point margin. The Dragons lead midway through this second term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throwing across half back. No clean possession out of there. Coughlin tapped it forward. Smith went through. Handball out of there, finds its way to Watson. Watson sends it towards the top of the goal square. It's marked by Greaves. It was off hands. Greaves handballs over the top. Jackson Hood in the goal square, puts it through. 2 in a row, Castlemaine. Jackson Hood ends up with the goal. Greaves did the work. Probably almost played for the mark when he should have got it over quicker, but it got there in the end. And the Magpies get 2 in a row, and it's back to a manageable 14-point margin here, 5-2-32, playing 7-4-46. Score sponsor, JB Reese, stumping around the grounds in the MCDFL at quarter time. It is Harcourt 3-2-20, trailing Trentham 6-2-38.
If you wanted to see some game footage for Castlemaine, probably note that that time of that quarter, which is a 13-minute mark, that's how you want them to play. So change lanes, moved it fast and got it forward. Great finish, Jackson Hood.
Restart. Cameron's laughing at me. He shows me a score on his phone. I can't see it for no chance at all. As Castlemaine will go forward again now, across half forward. Murley, he swoops on the footy. Getting involved there was Ben McConaughey. Keogh by hand. It's a little bit messy, but it's going to be cleaned up by Huntley. Huntley, a left-footer, just a little bit too severe for Cal Huntley. McConaughey.
He's taken out the boundary umpire
He
too.
was. I thought he was out for a minute. 30 from
Boundary
goal.
umpire might be out though.
You could get a call up here, Cam.
As the boundary, you're right, he is out. He got collected. The ball will be thrown in the forward pocket.
Who's going
Castlemaine
to throw the
attacking.
ball in?
Well, not that boundary umpire, I don't reckon, Cam.
I think it's you.
Gee,
You better get down
He's
there.
down for the count.
as we'll have to kill a little bit of time here because he does look pretty sore and sorry for himself. What happened, Don? Cal McConaughey emerged with the footy and he was at pace, so I can only assume he collected him on the way through.
Yeah, he took them on, loose ball, picked it up cleanly, and I'm thinking that Isaac Carriger were involved with tackling him.
Who?
Carraher.
There you go, pronunciation.
He's not
Yeah,
the
and
way
then
up
both
by
of them may have collected him just over the line. So yeah, it was very fast, and I'd say the poor boundary.
Let's go around the
umpires
grounds in
just-
Bendigo footy, Dom. There's a game that's really fascinating me at the moment. Eagle Hawk, gee, the wheels have really fallen off in the back end of the season. They're only leading South Bendigo by 11 points. 7-5-47 to 5-6-36. So South Bendigo putting in a good performance in their last game of the year, but the other one, Gisborne, who will be watching Castlemaine's fight back in this game, they lead Kangaroo Flat comfortably 71-30.
What a Trojan. The boundary umpire gets
Yeah.
up. He gets the applaud from the...
Not all heroes
from
wear
the
capes,
crowd.
John.
Anyone else would be gone and the ambulance would be here, but that young umpire's got up and he's just doing all his best work. There's Coughlin now deep in his defensive zone, laterally from one back pocket to the other, to Ireland. Ireland to the Dragons, to the wing, to Connick. This one is Connick. They do look alike, Connick and Wright, the way
I
they
reckon
move.
Wright's had a haircut.
Connick goes long. It's a 50-metre ball. Shallow inside, forward 50. Fergus Green will lurk. Numbers are with the main. Turnover. Wilkinson. Good brave mark by Pedretti, who's running with the fly to the footy. And on his defensive arc of 50 takes a mark on the railway side.
Wilkinson has been absolutely superb in the back line for Castlemaine today. Probably nearly their best player on the ground at the moment. Pedretti will send the ball up towards centre-half wing position. No mark taken by Curnow. Not that there is a centre-half wing. Centre wing was the word I'm looking at. True centre wing. But anyone that wanting to be technical will get a ball up.
Just coming back to that last forward entry from Sandhurst, I loved seeing the Castlemaine defenders push back on Fergus and close up that space.
Contest now, outer side. Emerging with the footy will be Hood. He puts it into the corridor. Smack bang in the middle of the glue pot in the camp reserve. Keating overruns the footy. Franklin emerges for Castlemaine of the Magpies. Handball forward. It was a difficult ball. Carraher, turnover. Dragons, Paul Pratt. Handball forward. He's got Wilkinson on half forward now. He'll come inboard. Now 50 from goal. Keating. Handball inside forward 50. Oh, a series of handballs. Did well Tardrew. Handball to Joel Wharton, who goes goalward and bangs it through for a goal. Well, they just linked up and they did it very well, Don Moran. I'm sure you'll tell us about it shortly, as it is now Castlemaine trailing 5-2-32 to Sandhurst 8-4-52. 17 minutes gone. Second term score. Sponsor JB Restumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
There's a little thing in football called want, John. Want to win the ball and receive the ball, pick up a loose ball, and we just witnessed that. The chaining from Sandhurst then was terrific. Kept drawing a player, kept going over the top, and I think they linked up probably 30-40 metres before Joel Wharton slotted his second goal for the day.
Well, if Joel Wharton didn't want to kick it, he had Maxted running in unopposed into the goal square almost as well. So good players. Nelly goes in the ruck for Sandhurst. Henderson. Huntley just tried to shark it out of midair like a Jackie Chan kind of style. Fell to Nelly. Nelly sends a barrel, a good old-fashioned barrel inside forward 50. Maxted couldn't get on the end of it. Spills to Green. Goes to Wharton. Wharton around the body. Goes goalwards and puts through another one. And when Sandhurst are rolling, there is not many better sides to watch in Bendigo footy. Joel Wharton's got his third. And the link-up play is magnificent. Castlemaine are all sorts at the minute. 9-4-58. Magpies 5-2-32.
It just seems
Score sponsor, JB Restumping.
so much cleaner when the ball hits the ground. And they always find a player, and even when they go forward, their ability to be able to want to win the footy and push forward is terrific. So Joel Wharton, 3-3 now before half-time. So they're starting to rack up a little bit. So let's see Castlemaine get one against the Tide here and put a bit more effort into winning some ball forward. You've got Hartley up front, so let's see some footy come into him through our midfield. So midfield's got a lift here.
Early days, but Joel Wharton's got to be a candidate for the Bendigo City Framers Sponsor Award, $100 voucher this afternoon.
Is that because he's a left foot forward, John?
Yeah, and he's looked potent up forward, hasn't he? He's made the most of his chances, as it'll be a stoppage in his second.
He's already won it earlier this year too.
He has, but that doesn't discount him, does it, Cam? Well, I reckon.
Bigger money value.
Castlemaine might have to think about making a change there, John, and move.
Yeah, and with this link, you mentioned that the link play and the want, Don, that looked like premiership football to me. The side that, if you can play that kind of football when the weather's become a little bit better, which they're doing. As Slingo won it on the wing, puts it to half forward now for Castlemaine. Inside forward 50, Carraher collects the footy, gives it there to right. Hood goes across half back. Keating receives. He's got Ruff running sidewards. Cooper Smith on the end of a handball. Here comes the chain again. Ruff on the left. That was a poor kick. Turnover now. Bailey Henderson has it and slews off the side of the boot to half forward for the main.
It does. Nelly went through, won it, knocked it in the direction of Tarju. Tarju sends it wide. Walsh turns around and the ball was right there for him to mark. That he does. So Lockie, it's with Noah Walsh. Noah Walsh will then send it up towards centre half forward. The fly comes. No mark taken, Connick, but it spills out. Handball out wide. Slingo got it to Woodman. Back out wide. Now they can bring it out towards Semmons. Semmons will then send a pass down towards Henderson, but a good punch in front was Matty Wilkinson, and he knocks it out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
Watch Lockie Tardrew around the ball. When he gets half a chance, he does not waste it either by hand or foot.
No, he's a very, very accomplished player. And look at that throw, and it goes up the chimney by the boundary umpire. They had to sit and wait underneath it. Hood won the tap and put it down the throat of Cal Huntley. He goes deep inside forward 50 with the kick. Castlemaine now in attack, 35 from goal. They're screaming for a free kick, and Castlemaine might get one. No, it's going the other way to Carraher of the Dragons. Ruff and Hartley. Hartley's being a bit nasty today, isn't he? I think they're trying to get under his skin, Don.
Yeah, they are. Liam Highland's doing a good job on that, Gino. Liam Highland is the pronunciation. How am I going today?
So the short pass is wide. Now they'll bang the kick down the timekeeper's wing. Maxted comes in from behind, knocked it down nicely to Tarju. Tarju to Maxted. Maxted can go to Walsh, or he can go even longer in the Wharton direction. Wharton's in a one-on-one with Woodman. Wharton won it to ground. And then dropping the ball there, probably should have been pinned for holding the ball. And in the end, he's going to receive a free kick for Castlemaine on the last line of defence.
He's got lucky,
Sutherland.
It was Sutherland. He'll chip it short to Byrne. And Byrne goes to Semmons. So Darby Semmons has it across half back. He'll then send the kick up towards Bailey Henderson, who's strong above head. Marks right in front of Smith. He then quickly wheels the ball into the middle of the ground to Cal Huntley. And why wouldn't you when you've got Cal Huntley like that? He marks.
Bailey Henderson's holding a bit of a hamstring here, boys.
He's told to play on across half-back. Keep an eye on that as he sends it out to Wilkinson. Wilkinson then even further forward to Sheehan. Sheehan's got it. Oh, Huntley slipped over at the wrong moment, which invited Sandhurst to come turn the ball over in the middle. Tarju's got it. Quick handball back to Hood. Hood dances one way, then the other. Then he sends it out wide to Wilkinson. Wilkinson's handball to McLean. McLean's got some space. He skews a kick off the side of the boot, which lands onto the chest of Noah Walsh. When it's your day, it's your day. Noah Walsh will go goalwards. And well, even the ugly kicks are working out for Sandhurst. Noah Walsh gets on the end of a goal. And Sandhurst have now slammed out to a 32-point lead, doubling the Magpies here. 10-4-64, Castlemaine 5-2-32. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott, builder.
It's so much more composed when they win the football, Sandhurst, and their chemistry, their ability to know where their teammates are. They don't even seem to move it sometimes. They pick a ball up and find a stationary player who then starts the chain and the link, and it's great to see.
Restart back in the middle now. They'll go up in the ruck. Jackson Hood doing the ruck work for Castlemaine. But it'll be Noah Walsh being good this afternoon. Turnover. Huntley, awkward looking ball. He might get a free kick against. So, defensive side of the centre circle. Kerno by hand of the Dragons goes to Hood. Hood short pass, 35-metre ball, finds Connick across half forward, 10 metres out from the boundary line. Oh, he's got Smith running for him. Smith runs to 60. He'll put it to the top of the square. Under pressure, running under the footy there a little bit was Lloyd Butcher. Spills to the back. John Watson, sweeping handball to Simmons. Simmons now puts Byrne under pressure. Handball back over the top, but it's going to be a turnover now. Right, his kicker smothers. Sheen did well. Right, backs up again. The old 1-2 to Tardrew. Right again, short pass, Stagg. 40 out from goal directly in front.
Have a look at all the midfielders lining up about 40 out in regards to that point. So Lockie Wright in the pocket, no pressure on, and could have picked off 4 players there to have this shot, and he's managed to get Nick Stagg to take a shot on goal. About 35, 40 out.
It's half-time at Heathcote in the final for a spot in the grand final. Whitehills 10-9-69, North Bendigo 5-3-33 out in a very sunny Heathcote tthanks to Adam Veach.
Nicholas Stagg of the Dragons gets underneath it a little bit, which makes it just slew wide, and he slammed it in the into the point post for a minor score. So it's now 65 playing at 32. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Dragons lead.
Brought back into play. No concern for Henderson with a hamstring there as he marks above his head. Right in front of our broadcast position, Bailey Henderson assesses his options. Does he want to switch? Woodman gives him the short option. Henderson then just steps around his opponent on the mark a little bit too easily there in Paul Pratt. Then he sends the kick down the line. Carraher got up and took a terrific grab. Isaac Carraher brung it to ground. Centre wing position. Timekeeper side wing here. He'll then go all the way backwards because there's nothing forward of the field. It's in the hands of Isaac Ruff.
Ruff. He'll go laterally again, and they just work the footy through Ireland. Ireland short pass, hits McLean. Jake McLean Dragons. Short pass forward 20 metres by foot to Wharton, and Wharton goes 20 metres back to Cooper Smith. So ringer Rosie's. Back to Wharton, 20 metre kick forward. Now Wharton's away. One bounce, runs to left half forward, kicking to the Galton Street end. He's got Lockie right and spots him up, who's standing directly in the corridor, 38 metres out directly in front, and will line them up for the Dragons.
Castlemaine just lacked a fair bit of awareness there, didn't they? The defenders, they didn't locate a player or didn't even get into a position to defend that footy. Great pass. Joel Wharton looks like he's got up the ground a little bit. He might be getting a bit worried he might kick too many goals today, John. I think so. Great inside kick though, wasn't it? Beautiful kick inside to Lockie Wright, who is 35 out directly in front, Galton Street end.
And he kicks it straight into the point, 2 in a row.
That post is going to fall down.
2 posters.
2 posters in a row, so 66 playing 32. And the thing I've noticed about the Dragons, they back up their players and just offer support. There's 2-3 in the contest every time.
Short pass in goes into the hands of Henderson, as we have seen so many times today. The kick from Watson. Bailey Henderson will then go down the train line side wing. No mark taken by Butcher. It spills out the back. Hood tracks after it. Happy to see it over the boundary line for a boundary throw in.
Half-time from Wayne Smith at White Hills in the preliminary final. Cam, 10-9-69 to North Bendigo, 5-3-33. You're nodding your head. You approve? I think you do, don't you?
Throw in on
Did
the
he just give us
far
that score as well, did he?
I don't think so.
I couldn't read it. He's making light of my inability to see at the moment. And when I say see, it's nothing to do with the football. It's got to do with old age and seeing the writing in front of me, Don.
Free kick, Ben
You'll get there one day.
McConaughey handballs off Huntley, then Watson. Watson sends it inside forward 50, mark taken by Keogh. 5 metres inside the boundary and 5 metres inside forward 50.
He's no chance.
Well, last time you said that, Save Murley, he done it, and I'm suspecting if Brad Keogh kicks this, he'll point straight in your direction.
Well, ladies in the
because I reckon
canteen.
the canteen has the radio going, so you'll probably hear you saying that. He's that close to the canteen, he could probably order a hot dog. He goes goalwards, it's going to go right to the line, it's punched through for a minor score.
Well, that was the reverse that I wanted because I was, Brad's a beautiful kick
Are you
and it
trying
got
to
pretty
say
close.
you don't like Brad Keogh?
No, I wanted him to kick it. So last time I said he wouldn't kick it, he did. So I was hoping for the same result for Castlemaine to get one against the Tide.
33 plays 66, Curnow brings the ball back into play.
He kicks it straight down the guts. It's a 65-metre ball. They fly for the pack. Emerging will be Coughlin. A couple of little don't argues, well, half don't argues anyway. Kicks it to space. Running onto the footy will be Connick. Connick by hand forward. It bounces up into Stagg. Stagg handball over the top to Wright. Wright 75 from home. He'll go corridor. He's got Green lurking. Byrne did really well. Got a defensive piss. What did I say then? A fist.
You did say fist.
I said
I'm with you.
With a
Leave it there.
With a silent P there, Don, as it goes over the boundary line, 40 metres out from goal, 33 playing 66.
You said the Sandhurst guys cover for one another, I'll cover for you.
Lickety
It was
click.
always fist.
Always fist. And Sandhurst are in attack, 33-point margin.
Or a punch.
Or a punch, that's
Couple of
it.
ex-Castlemaine boys are happy to stick around each other, the Castlemaine boys. It's off the hands. No one takes it cleanly. Coughlin barrels through. Murley's got a hold of him, and it spills to the ground. From one Castlemaine life member to an ex-Castlemaine coach around the club here at Castlemaine.
Fist with a silent P, Cam.
So Hartley's gone into the ruck, knocked it away from Maxted. Spills to ground.
I was up and
Another
about,
ball
in
up.
all fairness to me. I was, getting a bit excited, Cam.
Yeah,
Throw it in.
Leave it there.
Ball it up. Just
Trying to name a
inside
good
forward
humour.
50 for the Dragons.
Leave the funny stuff to the funny people, Cam, will you?
Will Moran goes through. He's tackled straight away. And we'll have another ball up just inside forward 50. And in the MCDF final, it is Natty Bialba 10-9-69 to Lexton 3-4-22, almost half-time.
Lloyd Butcher from centre half back was a poor kick. He kicks it straight to Sexton. Sexton by hand to Ruff. Ruff a 15-metre ball forward to Connick. Or is it right? It's Connick. He goes.
Kick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's ineffective on that occasion because it's a turnover. Hartley standing in defensive arc, 48 from the goal he defends. Oh, it's a low ball. It's going to be effective though. They're away. Johnny Watson inside forward 50. He's got Keogh. Keogh made, he was underneath it. Now he turns and goes. He's got Henderson running into an open goal and he's going to...
No score.
If he had a play... Oh, no. If he took the mark, he kicks the goal, but he played on and the siren sounds.
Well, there you go. He's running with the fly of the ball. He had momentum, so
He'd already taken the mark.
Yeah,
he
but you
pulled
can
it up and then went back. But understand, he's always going to run in. Every player in that situation is going to run into an open goal, aren't they, Don?
They are. I just feel for Bailey in regards to that. So that's where, look, come on. We look at the AFL often and we get those signs on the bench. Where was that sign being held up that there was a second to go so Bailey knew?
Yeah,
it wasn't there, John. What's going on? We've got to get that signage up.
Yeah.
We see all
Obviously,
those
the
crazy
Castlemaine
signs.
timekeeper wasn't on the buttons that quarter. It was the Sandhurst timekeeper.
Yeah.
Because
That's a
they
fair
rotate.
point.
One does the paperwork and one does the time watch. And I reckon if it had been the other way around,
Jeez,
you'd
yeah.
probably just go, oh, crap, I didn't hear that going off, don't you, Don?
Yeah, totally. It's just right on the money too, wasn't it? As you say, he was committed with his momentum. Every day he should have done that.
Yep.
He was not to know that was going to happen.
White Hills 10-9-69. They are leading North Bendigo 5-3-33. A very similar scoreline here. It's Sandhurst 10-6-66. Castlemaine 5-3-33. The second half is underway. Sexton wins the first ball down out of the middle. We'll have a ball up. How'd you see the first half, Don Moran?
It was very impressive by Sandhurst, and let's hope Castlemaine can tie him up a little bit and make a bit more of a contest of it.
Spills off hands. Castlemaine try and charge their way through. And it's a free kick against Sheen, who's been pinned holding the ball. Lockie Tarju That was a little bit feisty from Cooper Smith off the ball there. Tarju fires the ball out towards Noah Walsh. It bounced awkwardly for him, then flying through, taking it away will be Greaves. He'll take it over the boundary line for a boundary throw in.
It just back to that point, Cam. Yeah, they midfield got on top of Castlemaine early, and their open forward line has contributed to a strong score at half time.
Throw in. Hartley just bangs it forward in the direction of McConaughey. Cal McConaughey gets it. Handball's back to Henderson, back to Cal McConaughey. Cal McConaughey gives it over the top to Huntley. Huntley gives it off to Slingo. Slingo then fires the handball over the top. Here's a chance. It'll be Hickey in game 50. He can go for goal himself, and he goes right to the line and hits the post. He had Jackson Hood all on his own, and he went the goal, and he hit the post, and Jackson Hood cannot believe it. That had to go to Hood, didn't it, Don?
Yeah, that's just one of those things that Castlemaine with Bailey before. There's another goal that's just gone begging, hasn't it? That just either overkicked him or missed the shot. I'm not sure.
Do you reckon I reckon it was more of a pass that ended out floating back and it looked like it might have been a shot, but I reckon the intention originally was to go there.
But to be that close, like Jackson Hood hit the post with his body as well. So yeah, just
Hickey should kick that goal too. So one that goes definitely begging as Murley will pump it back in there for the Magpies. Hood's going to get a fly at it, caught between two, almost brought it down. Ruff was standing in the front of the pack, took it away. Handball, now they go to Connick. Connick to Ruff, and Ruff to Smith. And Smith can go over the top to Hood. Hood can get it and go back to Smith, but he was hotly pursued in the tackle there by Pedretti. It didn't quite turn over. Connick won it on the second effort, went to Curnow. Curnow paddles it forward, taken away Sandhurst. Came back to Curnow, now to Tarju. Tarju in space, sends it out onto the leader, Fergus Green. And that is just link-up footy at its best, Don Moran. Sandhurst on song this afternoon.
Well, it was handball link, wasn't it, from 30 metres out, and I don't think the kick from Tardru to Fergus Green occurred until it was in the middle of the ground, so their ability to handball the ball and chain it through probably 80, 90 metres before the kick was taken. And geez, it was lace out too. You wouldn't mind some of those, John, leading out to that. Even you might have been a chance to catch that.
Had no other choice but mark it.
Green
Correct.
comes in inside forward 50. Welcome back, John Hunter, as Green then sends it goalwards. It swings late through for a minus score.
I would have kicked it though.
3 goals, 2 now for Fergus Green, and the Magpies trail this one by 33 points. Several minutes into the opening quarter here at the Camp Reserve. Score sponsor, Rule and Outdoors, Castlemaine.
John Watson will kick it in for Castlemaine. Plays on from fullback now. He's got the club rooms at his back. Then he kicks a 50-metre ball to the outer side wing. Railway side wing. Tardru sweeps on the footy now and gives it by hand to Coughlin. Dragons will move it forward, inside forward 50, forward pocket in front of the club rooms. A clever little tap by Wilkinson, but they're pretty tight there and it ends up over the boundary line in front of the club rooms. We'll have a ball in. 30 around from the goal that the Dragons attack. It's 67 playing 34. This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throwing in the forward pocket. Kobe Maxted's gone into the rack duties. Hartley was able to beat him to the footy. He knocked it forward. McConaughey went after it.
Castlemaine fly coming through their camp.
And we'll have a ball up inside forward 50. Waiting to see who the runner is that you're describing as the Castlemaine flyer.
No, it's that train that's going off in the background.
Completely oblivious.
You
You know what I haven't seen today?
You can't hear or see that?
I haven't seen the steam train today. Where's the steam train? Every time we come, it steams past us.
Comedy's
steam train.
Comedy's just wasted on you, Cam, I've decided.
Well, maybe it's just a cue that you're not that funny, John, as it's going to emerge out of the middle. Walsh, he sold some candy, got through the tackle, sent it towards goal, through for a minor score. And it will be a minor score. Noah Walsh. So 2 goals, 1 for him.
At the break, it looks like the magnets have been thrown around by Castlemaine. Hartley in the ruck, Greaves onto a wing.
Henderson down the guts now, the kick in from full back. It spills in smack bang into the middle of the Camp Reserve, but it's 2 players now to choose from. Connick received. Dinky short little ball, looks for Free. Free now moves to half-back. Just a little bit too easily, the extraction of that footy off half-back for the Dragons. Lockie Wright sporting a haircut this afternoon. Looking absolutely magnificent, and a magnificent pass to a daisy cutter to half forward. Hits up Palprat. Palprat now looks forward for the Dragons. They look to hit it wide. I'm just trying some of my finest work here, Don.
What would that be, John?
Oh, well, just my adjectives. Keating now with the ball. He goes long, inside forward 50. They'll set themselves. It might be Hartley playing down their back, Cam. It is. And he'll relieve momentarily pressure for the Magpies.
Yeah, hard not to spot him with those bright yellow boots, Michael Hartley. As
Are
the
they
Magpies
green
go
or
back
yellow?
to Henderson.
They're more of a snot green, aren't they? Or what do you think?
Henderson goes across the ground.
Maybe a lime green.
Oh, well, so yeah, not.
Up the ground, it mercs its way
Not a
into
candle's green.
the Greaves direction.
Umpire green.
Oh, I'm liking my own work here.
Well, what colour have they got on Greaves? Would you just call him a bright orange or a red?
It's probably his third kick for the day.
Sunburnt lobster, I don't know.
Greaves sends it down the line. It would have been you 2 weeks ago being a sunburnt lobster in that weather, wouldn't have it, John?
Lane Cowie, yeah, absolutely.
So back at the footy as McConaughey gets the handball out. That was Ben. Comes up, Connick intercepts, and now he just accelerates away from Keogh. Sends it inside forward 50. Castlemaine have got the numbers, but it's an absolute shocking handball. Lockie Hood, he intercepts as easy as you like. He rolls in from 40 metres out directly in front and puts it through. And that is an absolute coach killer, that handball. Lockie Hood doesn't mind. He thinks Christmas has come early. He's got his second goal. And the Magpies are trailing this game by 40 points. 11-8-74 Sandhurst, 5-4-34 Castlemaine. The score sponsor is Bendigo City Framers.
You mentioned a coach killer, but there's a game killer where they're so close to the boundary and Castlemaine under pressure, and we just need a little bit of composure to maybe take it out of bounds, take a tackle, roll out, and then just get the game to stop momentarily so that people can match up and get around the ball.
Back in the middle, ball up. It'll be won by Castlemaine. Cal Huntley, and high up and under ball. Into the pocket. Henderson is the target, got caught underneath it. Just drifted towards the boundary line. Isaac Ruff doing well for the Dragons, and 30 around from goal, ball in.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Castlemaine players here. Hopefully they're setting up, but there's plenty of numbers around the ball from Sandhurst, so boundary throw in about to take place.
Look at puppy eyes here because the ball's close to us and you can't see. He wants to take the call. Go on then, Cam.
Throw in inside forward 50. It comes off hands. Should be giving these ones to you with the eyesight that you described. I'm not even being able to read the text message, John.
You'll be going all right if you're my age, Cam, and still carving up the dance floor.
Doing whatever you do inside. Throw in. Knock down Sexton.
My nocturnal activities.
Harju taking in the tackle straight away. You can have a go here, I reckon, now, John.
Thank you, Cameron.
Not sure you'll see him
Very
out on the dance floor.
Very kind of you. 35 metres out, directly in front. Magpies attack. It'll be Hartley up against Sexton. Hartley won the tap. Hurried kick out of the pack by the Dragons. Geez, they're messy but effective in the end. Hood, by hand, gave it to a running Cooper Smith. That's a little bit of a shank ball, but I reckon he might have meant it in the end. It put it in the path of Wilkinson. Wilkinson runs a long way. Probably should have been a free kick for incorrect disposal. Gave plenty of time. Wart now. Handball goes there to Stagg.
Was the umpire
Stagg
saying
spreads
maybe
it
it was more of a
wide.
push and not a tackle?
Lockie
I'm not
Wright.
sure, but that should have been.
And Lockie Wright takes a mark too far from home, Cam. 75 metres, I reckon.
Inside forward 50 he goes. Intercept mark will be taken by the
John
Magpies
Watson.
on the last line of defence. Watson, who's been pretty good for the Magpies so far this afternoon. So John Watson sends it down the train line wing. Castlemaine Flyer has exited the building here at the Camp Reserve as it flies down the ground. No one able to take any clean possession. We'll have a boundary throw in. Well, we'll have a ball up, I should say.
Big crowd here at the Camp Reserve. If you're getting involved, or even if you're not getting involved, go and buy a ticket to the David McCann Ruffle that's on this afternoon. A $2,000 prize. Plus there'll be an auction on this afternoon as the Dragons win it through Polprat off the wing. Woodman, it's been quiet this afternoon. He overran the footy, but he had time and space and give it to Semmons by hand. Semmons, the ball spills to Wilkinson. Wilkinson, he had Moran on offer by hand there and he ignored it and decided to go down the line and went to Hood, but I sense he probably should have went to Moran there as I look at the other Moran sitting behind me. Did you think
Yeah,
so?
the body language shows that he should have, and he didn't, did he? So let's move on.
How does Carragher get in, able to jump over the top of Hood and knock the ball? Like, look at the size difference on the two.
Yeah.
You'd think Lockie Hood would be marking that one, but Carragher...
It was the flight of the footy. The flight of the footy coming in. It doesn't matter.
It was a terrific job by Carragher, undersized to make a contest there as Castlemaine working into the middle. Murley tried to paddle it over the back in the Hood direction. Hood had a bit of a fresh air swing as he tried to do the same thing, which allowed Nally to emerge with it. Nelly emerges with it, gave it to Connick. Connick then sends it further forward wide. Now they've got it up to Hood. Hood can emerge along the train line wing. Back to Hood. Short pass. Well, it was an absolute shocker. It was smothered by Progetti. Came back to Hood. Progetti made the tackle and will have a ball up.
The difference around when the ball is under pressure by both sides is that Sandhurst just are clean and don't panic.
No, you're right. And you want me to give you some useless information, Cam? You probably picked this up, but Hood and Hood for Castlemaine and the Dragons are both 22. Am I slow to the project, or did you realise that as well? Useless information, I told you. You know, don't get too excited by it. As Ruff will win it now off half-back for the Dragons. Not if Henderson's got anything to do with it with the Magpies. They're asking for
Are there any relations?
No. No, but I only just realised they're both 22 and they're both Hoods. You just realised it too, didn't you? I thought you were calling the wrong one for a minute, and then I looked down and I thought, oh, no, he's not. They're both Hood and they're both Castlemaine, they're both 22. So if we muck that up, we're not going too good, are you?
No. 22 Hood. That one comes off the head of McConaughey, but he was able to barrel back through and give it off to Huntley. Huntley chips into the pocket for Henderson. Ruff got there and punched the ball away. He's been good, Isaac Ruff. He's definitely almost in contention for today as well for our Bendigo City Framers Best on Ground Sponsors Award.
$100, Cam.
Yeah.
$100 to a
You got
frame.
anyone in mind early stages, Don Moran?
I'm starting to lean towards Lockie Tardrew just with his composure and efficiency.
A previous winner too.
Go out on a limb there.
So the umpire will throw it in now. Up they'll go in the ruck. Whistle for a hold. Who's he going to pay it to? I reckon he was going to go the other way for a minute, but it's going to Dragons. Dragons, Sexton, a little give by hand to a running Jake McLean. McLean will send it down to the railway side. Wilkinson did well, got a fist in there, but Maxted, he pinched it from him. Then he's tackled well, but he managed to get boot to ball. Stagg, little handball over the top, moving it through Paul Pratt. Goes to Curnow. Curnow now shallow inside forward 50 in front of the canteen, and he spots up Noah Walsh. Walsh looks further afield. He'll go long. Green will be the target. In fact, it's Keating who was running and calling for the footy, but it just goes in for a minor score. 75 playing 34. Sandhurst lead halfway through this third term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This quarter is sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine.
Watson brings the ball back in. He sends a 60-metre kick down the line in front of this Castlemaine coach's bench, and it's going to be a free kick which is going to be paid for a hold.
Just don't want to be captain obvious here, John, but there was a simple fundamental, I can't even say the word, fundamental in footy was to get in front. The Castlemaine just struggle to get in front under a high
Islander
ball.
Wilkinson then sends it into the top of the goal square. It comes off hands. No one able to take it cleanly. Curnow tried to emerge with the footy. Then the handball out wide for Sandhurst. Slingo goes through. In fact, it is Slingo in there. Sexton tried to play a bit of basketball and paddle the ball back up to himself. Was unable to do so. Merging with the ball for Sandhurst, Smith. Smith gave off the handball. Now it falls to Keating. Keating gets it off wide. It's now McLean. McLean then just skews one. It was a good little kick in the end. Not sure where he was going originally, but it worked out all right into the hands of Caleb Connick. Connick chips it short. Noah Walsh marks it. 55 out from goal. Slows it up a little bit, then chips it into the pocket. Noah Walsh out onto a Fergus Green hard lead. Couldn't quite take it. Spills off hands. Sutherland will have his hands on it when he's taken in the tackle for a ball up.
There's the perfect example. Castlemaine fumble, and then Sandhurst gets their hands on it. Clean, handball release, and the ball's gone.
Hartley tapped it to Hickey in their back half. They'll need to be careful now in front of the kiosk. Geez, the ladies
Same again, John. Miss handball, which they were out there, but they missed the handball.
Ladies in the kiosk are getting a good look at the footy this afternoon. It seems to be parked over there quite often as Hartley wins the tap. He tapped it straight down. The Dragons emerge. Carraher to Cooper Smith by hand. Shallow inside forward 50 now. 35 from goal. Paul Pratt dives on it. Hartley emerges with the Magpies. Hurried kick beyond 50 and cleverly finds the boundary line. Connick couldn't trap it for the Dragons. And 2 kicks from the Dragons home. We'll have a ball in. 75 playing 34. Dragons lead.
You hearing me?
I'm hearing you, brother.
It's fumble, and it goes to show you the difference in the position on the ladder, their ability to be composed, find and release outside play.
We're watching the premiership side here this afternoon. I'm sure of it, Don.
Well, there might be some boys down the road in Gisborne that might be having a...
They very well might be,
a little bit of a...
just from what I've seen this season so far.
Ball up. Palprat gets it, sends it inside forward 50. And good strong mark playing in front for the Magpies will be Wilkinson. And if we were going to give it to a Castlemaine player, he'd have to be in contention that Bendigo City Framers Sponsors Award. McConaughey gets it. He bangs it down the line. Off hands, free kick will be paid.
Jackson Hood.
Was it a push or a hold or?
Over the shoulder from a guy that's a foot smaller.
So Hood on centre wing for Castlemaine.
Am I allowed to complain about that scoreboard? It's horrible. Can't see it.
He sends it inside. Sheehan's going to get the fly. Couldn't quite take it. Spills to the back. And now it's going to be emerged. And, well, they've moved the magnets for John Watson to go forward by the looks. And
no, I think he's just ran down, Cam.
Unlikely goal scorer. And he only contributes a behind to his total. And it's 35 playing 75 in front of Sandhurst. It'll be Harrison Free to bring the ball back into play. Score sponsor is Don is good.
He's probably thought enough's enough. We've got to kick a goal here.
Yeah. The best we can hope for here is Castlemaine to put some respectability in the score and go out fighting Don. I think as a Castlemaine supporter, that would be the goal. As Brodie Byrne, a big fist in there for the main, puts it over the boundary line, right in front of us here, in front of the broadcast truck. Thanks to Simon, sponsor Little Red Apple of the truck this afternoon. Go out and see Simon for all your Harcourt apples and ciders and whatever you like. The apple cider is magnificent as Hartley wins the the tap, goes over the top. Will Moran gets involved, handball. McConaughey, it's been by hand to Hartley. Hartley goes goalward, sprays it, not even close to hitting the goals.
Talk about moments, chances. Sandhurst take those. Castlemaine don't.
Out of bounds on the full, so will be a free kick.
Do you reckon my car's going to run out of petrol because I'm charging my phone out there, Cam, because I need the power? It's been going for half an hour.
Free brings the free kick back into play. Sends it up towards Lockie Wright, who got to the front of the pack. 40 claimed it. Umpire said no. Simmons handball to Byrne. Byrne sends it high to the top of the goal square. It's Butcher down there against Island. It spills back. Sheehan handballs off. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Butcher went again with a second option. Handball to Hickey. Hickey will snap around the body in game number 50 and he'll put through the minus score.
Touched, I think, was it?
Touched or missed, either or.
So either way, it's going to be 1 point to the scoreboard. Another chance goes begging. 39-point margin in favour of the Sandhurst Dragons. Bryce Kerno will bring the ball back into play. Score sponsor Don's Small Goods is Don is good.
Kerno plays in from fullback for the Dragons. It's a 60-metre ball to the Frankie Byrne wing on the creek. Good high hands there. It was Connick. Connick by hand. They've got them all running. At one bounce, two bounce by Keating. Keating of the Dragons, inside forward 50 now. Fergus Green is the target. Under pressure here, Magpies. They've got the numbers through Byrne. 1-2. McConaughey getting involved as well. Greaves, he's down back. Handball forward. In fact, don't argue by Henderson, and he's collared by Cooper Jones. Well done. Well done. It was good. Cooper Jones. Cooper Smith. Cooper Jones used to play for North Melbourne. And they're away. He did too. As we've got a free kick now for a ping.
Was Corey Jones that played for North Melbourne.
Yeah, well, kind
and
of.
Golden Square. And Witchy
Kind of. Yeah, I got it wrong. Is that what you're trying to say, Cam? Free kick now. And tell me who's with the footy. Is it...
it's Murley.
It's Slave Murley. John?
Right now, but who kicked it to him? Slingo.
Yep. Great tackle too on Noah Walsh from Declan Slingo.
So I'll straighten the call up a little bit here as Murley sends it up towards centre half forward. It's going to be a chance. It's spelled out the back, and here's a chance for Kel McConaughey. McConaughey on the right, goes goalwards, and it stays right, minus score.
Well, you asked John, you wanted them to come, and they're starting to come. So we just want some goals rather than behinds here.
37 playing 75. As I'm looking at that scoreboard, it's almost 20 minutes, I reckon. It's hard to see. Sorry, Don, you've got me in stitches here for a second. Bryce Kerno will bring the ball back into play for Sandhurst. Completely oblivious as Kerno runs the ball back out of defence. Up towards centre wing. Big fly. Mark taken. Tarju into the middle of the ground. Goes short. Walsh, who was taken after he probably completed the mark, so it'll be a free kick or a mark. Handball back to Tarju. Tarju runs straight through the cricket pitch. It slowed him up a little bit and then decided just to knock it forward was Palprat to McLean. McLean gets it. He wheels onto the right, sends it inside forward 50. Connick gets the fly and takes the mark. Caleb Connick has taken an absolute beauty. And I was a bit worried to go with it in case it was Lockie Wright, but it was Caleb Connick. I was right that time. And he's 40 metres out directly in front of goal. He won our Bendigo City Framers Best on Ground Sponsors Award. I went with it earlier and it wasn't even him that had the ball. But I'm confident it's Caleb Connick this time. from 40 out directly in front. He'll come in on the right, and he stabs at it, but he stabs at it all right. Was it touched on the line? No, it's a goal. Connick puts through the goal, his first of the afternoon, and Sandhurst just increased their lead. 12-9-81. Castlemaine are 5-7-37. And I've got no idea how long's gone in this quarter.
20 minutes,
Score
Cam.
sponsor is Don is good.
And I'd like you to revisit this audio at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, because you have had a problem with Lockie Wright and Caleb Connick today, and you got that one right, and you said right 4 times thereafter. You went, Caleb Connick's marked that, I was right, and then...
I was right.
Yeah, there you go. So just listen to that audio, you'll love it.
Back in the middle now. Up they go on the right.
Always right.
Nellie's doing the ruck work against Hartley. Nellie of the Dragons. So that was a little bit unusual, as just forward of centre for the Dragons will have another stoppage.
Took me a minute to get where you were going there.
Yeah, listen to it. You've said right about 6 times.
It's about as useless
great.
as my 2022.
You speak.
The hood for both sides. What's going on here? Free kick. Let's straighten right up. Magpies, Cal Huntley.
He's been quiet this afternoon for his lofty standards, Cal Huntley.
Relatively. He's had a couple of important possessions. Let's see what he does with this footy. He spreads it wide to a running Semmons. Semmons tries to tap it. It was a little bit severe for him. They all dive on top of him. Hood emerges for the Dragons, so it's a turnover. Handball to space. John Watson traps it. Another turnover. Gives it to Huntley. Awkward kick inside 50. Overrunning the ball was rough. Pedretti picked it up one-handed, but the pressure was on by Smith. Emerging now was Franklin. Inboard. Hits Slingo. Dives to the left and a slips catch. And 45 from goal will line them up. He's a pretty good kick of the footy, Don, isn't he? Slingo?
He's a long kick of the football, so distance won't be a problem. So I'm going to go with what I've said all day. He's probably not. Distance won't be a problem. Accuracy may be.
Those kind of kids go a little bit toward if they haven't had a lot of shots at goal, don't they? They go away from the regular routine. Yeah. Let's see what his old man would have kicked this, I reckon.
Yeah, his old man was a lovely kick.
Dean Slingo. It'd be sitting down near the Galton Street Bridge if he got onto it with his left foot, but this Slingo's a right footer. He kicked underneath it, and the distance wasn't a problem, but he wasn't fluent with his kick, and it was a minor score. 38 playing 81. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo.
Perfectly described by Don Moran, who was on special comments. As Curnow chips it into Carraher, handball back to Curnow, then they send it wide. They'll come back into the middle where they'll find Noah Walsh. Walsh handballs to Carraher. It was a little bit behind him, but he had time to recover and give it back to Walsh. And Walsh to Ireland. Ireland takes the mark inside defensive 50. He'll chip an absolute shocker. Straight to Zave Murley. Noah Walsh was standing there calling for it, and Murley read it like an absolute book. Murley's got it right on the top of 50. Bailey Henderson doing a bit of on-field coaching there for Murley, telling him to back what he's got. And based on what he kicked in that first quarter, he's more than capable of slotting this one, Don Moran.
I think Bailey was unlucky there. Bailey was on there, but David just didn't quite clue on that he was on his hip.
So Murley, right from 50, goes goalwards, right to the line. It's gone through. Well, Bailey Henderson thought it would have been a goal based on earlier, but this one's definitely fallen short, and it's a minor, 5-9-39 to 12-9-81.
So the last previous kick in, Cam, was short and got themselves in trouble, whereas the two prior to that were a longer down the line. So let's see whether they can exit now.
It was shorter down the line, went to Coughlin, but it still went 30 metres. Coughlin then spread wide towards the boundary line. It's going to be a turnover here. Castlemaine, what can they do? Can they build something here? They'll share it around, and Semmons will end up the foot. He got put under the pump, though. The delivery to him went high and floated, and, of course, he was always going to get collared, causes a stoppage, and it's going to be a ball up on the outer side wing.
Round the grounds in the Heathcote district, where White Hills went on a rampage in that third quarter. 16-14, 110 to North Bendigo, 5-4-34. So White Hills making a statement for a chance at a premiership. They're straight into the grand final.
Paul Pratt marks the ball on the wing for the Dragons. Now he'll send it inside forward 50. Wilkinson flew and just went through his hands. Offered support, mopping up there was Brodie Byrne of the Magpies. Now they'll go. Greaves down there as well. Goes to Jackson Hood. So that was almost a horseshoe in and out. Just went through the wrong teams there, Adam. So nearly got there.
Had to slip in the old horseshoe reference.
Well, he's been waiting for one all afternoon, so we'll get a genuine one before the end of the day. Pretty hard at the camp reserve, though, to give us a horseshoe in and out, as stoppage here right in front of us. 2 kicks from home. Magpies will attack. They're on right half forward, 15 metres in from the boundary line. Just in front of us, Simon from the Little Red Apple sponsoring the truck here this afternoon. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So Nally somehow got in front of Hartley and knocked it down, but it worked out for Henderson. Henderson sends it inside forward 50. Ireland goes up and takes a strong mark as Liam Ireland. Yep, Pedretti hard on him, but he still stood tall. He had to shade the sun out of his eyes to originally find where the footy was, but he did it well. He chips it into the goal square where he finds Smith. Smith will then wheel it out. His kick works out further wide to Ruff. Then Ruff goes down the line. Mark taken by Connick. Connick will look to go into the middle. Is that what we call a horseshoe where they swing it around like that, John? As he goes out wide again to Wilkinson.
In and out.
Wilkinson has it out wide. Thought about giving the handball off, decided against it. He then kicks it up the wing. Train line side wing, intercept mark for the Magpies will be Brody Byrne.
I actually described it as a reverse horseshoe because you go in one way and come out the other. Just like the shape of a horse. I can't believe I have to explain it to you, Cam.
Well, no, but if you look at it, it started here, then it went back, then across, and then it come back out the other side.
Yeah.
So that's a horseshoe.
Let's go with it.
You boys
Carraher.
Everyone knows what a horseshoe looks like.
He's got Ireland.
They're just toying with it now.
Some would say he had
Let's get back to the game, eh? Sandhurst just toying with Castlemaine here. They're just chipping it around.
Carraher back to
26-minute mark, maybe that's their plan. Red time, chip it around, own the ball.
Keating receives, so 3 kicks within defensive 50 across the face of defensive goal. Becomes a little more aggressive now to Tananelli. He's at his defensive arc of 50. He kicks it short inside the centre square, just forward of centre for Castlemaine, but defensively, Cooper Smith has got it. He's been good this afternoon. He'll go back in the defensive arc to Carraher. So they've had probably 6 or 7 possessions in the defensive arc. Yeah. Here's another one.
Gee, this is not good if you're a spectator watching this, is it?
No, you stop covering a spot and go and stand a player, Castlemaine. That's what they've got to do. They've got to go stand someone.
Ireland just had 4 uncontested marks in defence, and now it's back where Keating almost started this play.
That's why we're banging on about horseshoes, because it's just boring, Cam. So over to you. See if you can liven it up a little bit.
Eventually, Keating decides to go something other than a horseshoe kick, and he's kicked it straight to Cal Huntley. So back to the horseshoes if you're a Sandhurst. He then chips into the middle to Watson. Watson quickly moves it on to Murley. This is a little bit more exciting. Murley inside. McConaughey just didn't quite sit for him. And it spills out to Ireland. Ireland to Smith. And then Smith to Keating. Well, the boundary umpire was right on it, but Keating kept it alive. Bangs it down the wing. Fly over the back from Lockie Wright. It had to be a push in the back. Umpire was running on Adelaide
John
time.
Watson's on here in the middle of the ground if Hartley has a look.
Hartley quickly sends it inside forward 50. It's a good-looking kick. Franklin's going to have to come from behind. It spills to Pedretti. Pedretti works his way around, goes to the top of the goal square. Siren sounds again. And that would have summed it up if he had taken the mark after the siren. But that is 3/4 time at the camp reserve. There is a lot of players. They are absolutely exhausted. And, well, Sandhurst, they will be able to run their guts out in the last quarter because they are going to get a rest in the first week of the finals around the grounds in the Heathcote District Football League. As mentioned before, it was an absolute dominant third quarter by White Hills, 16-14, 110 to North Bendigo, 5-4-34, 3/4 time. Harcourt come back and win that game, whereas 28 points, a little bit bridge too far to gap.
Never too far. But it's difficult to call that one when we're not there. So maybe with a little bit of momentum.
It seems like Trentham have been about 3 or 4 goals in front consistently for most of the day.
It's easy to say, isn't it? Like you just say that Trentham just need to kick 1 or 2 just to keep that gap, and Harcourt can keep coming, but they probably won't get there. Anyway, we're just about to get underway here, Cam.
The final quarter, and it'll be the final quarter of Castlemaine for 2024. A much more improved Castlemaine outfit. Free kick, Hartley in the middle.
Ooh, did you see that umpire then making a decision? They're both holding.
Hartley bangs it inside forward 50. He goes down. No mark taken. Spills off. Henderson's just playing more predominantly forward. Sanders work it out through Carraher. Goes by Carrot. There's a Castlemaine player down behind the ball. Keep an eye on that one, Don.
Yeah, it is Bailey too. Someone's careered into him.
I reckon he might have caught one in the guts the way he went down for a second then. Pedretti emerges with the footy. His kick will be smothered. And Ruff's copped it too. That was a good old-fashioned kick straight into the guts. And it took his time to get back up. He's winded himself, comes off the line. And we'll have a ball up 10 metres in from the boundary line. Umpire's called a free kick for holding the ball. What's going on here at the camp reserve at the moment?
Well, Hartley's had 2 free kicks in a minute, and there's
now
a
a 50-metre penalty.
Oh, it's gone pear-shaped.
I'm not making comment on the umpiring this afternoon, but it's going to result in a Hartley goal from the top of the goal square.
The butt rules that out.
Yeah, the butt.
You can come over the top.
Yeah.
With 1 T.
Do you know, someone told me if you say something, you say but, everything you said before that is BS.
Cancelled out.
Yeah, it's cancelled out.
Well, I didn't make any comment after I said but.
Well,
and
back to the footy.
The but is that Hartley's going to roll into the goal square and
Michael
kick a
Hartley
goal.
has had 2 free kicks in the space of a minute,
Well,
and
3
now
if you
kicked a
count.
goal.
Well, 3, you count the 50-metre penalty as a free kick as well.
Yep.
So he's got 2 now, Michael Hartley. And, well, can Castlemaine come back from this margin in the final quarter? It's the perfect start.
What'll be
6-9-45, 12-9-81, Sandhurst lead. Don Smallgoods is gone, is good. Match day.
Go to the vision of that and watch the umpire stand there and decide. He's blown his whistle. They were both holding on to one another, both ruckman. And then he's looked at, and then Hartley grabbed the ball and stood back, and he went that way. What's that vision? It's a classic.
Campbell will be watching it because he'll be wanting to listen himself.
Yeah, he doesn't mind listening
He
himself.
doesn't mind listening himself. Look at him. He's trying not to deny it. He doesn't want to go to the footy tomorrow in Melbourne.
Do you reckon he sits down, John, with a nice bottle of red and a few candles going? Dims the lights. And
packet of cheese twisties.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, all right.
Geez, it's cheese twisties everywhere as the ball is socking out of the middle here.
What about Pringles? What about Pringles, man?
No, the colour of the twisties gets everywhere, Cam. Keating wins it on half forward for the Dragons. Top of the square, Wharton says thank you very much.
There's your ball game.
Oh, well, it was over a little bit earlier than that, Cam, but he slammed through. Is that his 4th?
That's his 4th.
Joel Wharton. So Sandhurst go to 13-9-87. Castlemaine 6-9-45. Score sponsor Don Smallgoods is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, Don. So disappointing really because expecting a little bit of a response for Castlemaine in the last term, and that won't provide it, will it?
It was a one-on-one contest, and poor Nick Woodman got on the wrong side of that one. So hit the ground, keep your feet, otherwise as soon as you hit the ground, you're out of the contest.
I'll tell you what is disappointing though, Don Moran,
finished that off beautifully.
Is the state of the final round that we've had today, because there are some wayward scores going on.
What's going on at Eagle Hawk, actually?
Eagle Hawk 50 points clear of South Bendigo. Maryborough 121 points clear, 121 points behind Strathfield, say. And Gisborne 130 points ahead of Kangaroo Flat. So we've got the close one here this afternoon, if you want to call it that. It's a 42-point margins. We're back in the middle. Sandhurst win it down. It bounces out wide. Keating couldn't quite grab the footy. Lockie Hood went in on the top of it. And we'll have a ball up. 5 metres closer towards the Sandhurst goal from where the ball was balled up to start play. Henderson's gone up in the ruck. Sexton banged it forward. Keating's been good for Sandhurst. Sends it up towards centre half forward. It cleared over the head of Rocky Wright. Spills out to Maxted. Tried to get boot to ball. He did. Just kept it moving forward. John Watson's back there for Castlemaine. Handball to Semmons. Semmons thought about kicking it, but then he had to steady because he didn't have anything on that far side. Eventually he sent it out wide in the direction of Will Moran. What's going on with Will today? I haven't called his name too many times.
He hasn't been on the ground much, but I won't say anything about that.
Now, Don, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, and I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. I want you to put your coach's hat on. Are you still going with this, Cam? You keep going, and I'll ponder my question.
Tarju sharked it, sent it towards the top of the goal square. Wilkinson had an uncontested fly at it, but he spilt it, was able to recover to Byrne. Byrne handballs off to Ben McConaughey, rode the bump nicely and fed the handball out towards Franklin. Green's in there. And it spills to ground. They all dive on this one. Umpire letting him play as Franklin tries to emerge with the footy. Joel Wharton makes the tackle, and we'll have a ball up. You ask your question, I'll call the footy.
Your Ashconic coach, potential premiership side. Now we're in junk time. Nothing to gain, really. Which player, if any, is the most important one that you'd want to protect and perhaps say, come and have a rest and sit on the bench with me?
Keating's ball went inside forward 50 off the contest. Wilkinson will then clear it out of defence. Murley flew over the back towards Ben McConaughey. Got it to Watson. Watson sends a little bit of a torpedoing, barrelling looking ugly ball down towards centre wing. It comes off hands of Jackson Hood out of bounds. Boundary throw.
Or do you do it at all?
They got the rest. They got the rest next week.
No, you hold off a little bit and just see how it unfolds. But I would be going with Fergus Green.
I'd be actually going with Noah Walsh because he's had a few soft tissue injuries, and I think he's really important. And he would worry me if I lost him. Not particularly the best player out there, but
Walsh on cue.
important player.
He barreled through, won it out to Palprat. He'll send it inside forward 50. Fergus Green's out on the lead. Uncontested mark. 30 metres out, 40 metres out, almost directly in front. And is there any player better in Bendigo footy than gaining separation out on a lead and being able to take it out like that? I get Sandhurst kicks into him have been superb all year, but geez, when he gets separation, he's hard to stop. Reads the game so well.
Let's see how he rolls now. He's a nice kick.
So 40 out. He's got 4 goals too this afternoon. He's for goal number 81 on season 2024. He comes in and he, well, puts that one through for a minus score. Looked good off the boot, actually. But it's a little bit decisive, that forward pocket, right-hand forward pocket at the scoreboard end of the ground. It can be a tricky place to shoot for goal from Don Moran. 6-9-45, Sandhurst 13-10-88. Score sponsor, Parsons Towings in Castlemaine.
And there's a slight gradual fall away from the boundary, which makes it a difficult end to score from.
It's not exactly round, is it?
No.
It's actually good being a left footer from that pocket because of the that steep incline, if you'd like to call it. It certainly is. I've seen a lot of left footers kick goals from there. Even I might have kicked 1 or 2 in my day, Don, but not many more than that, as John Watson kicked it beyond 50. But I do recall kicking for goal there a few times, and it just, with a natural curve of the ground, it just helped you. As Slingo's got the footy.
Was there vision of that?
There might be. I was a senior. I played a few senior games here, Cam. Not many, but a few. There might be. But here's a bit another useless information. I remember playing a game here, and Jock Clark was calling me, and I could hear him from the truck. So that's was a long time ago.
Is that how old you are or how old Jock is?
Well, probably a little bit of both, I reckon. As the ball is
Did Jock ever play
Henderson. Yes, he did. He was a full forward, and I'll tell you what he was like, Jock, as the ball goes out of bounds on the wing on the outer side. Jock Clark was one of those guys, and why would this supply, he'd be listening, he used to wear, and he'd be loving it, North Central, he'd be wearing the white boots and the flashy full forward, the Phil Carman type, you know what I mean? He did. He certainly did.
I don't know who Phil Carman is.
Oh, for
Cam, get on Google, mate. He's still around, I think, Phil, working in Bendigo, the landscaping
Henderson
business.
emerged with the ball off the contest. He'll then send it inside forward 50. Good mark taken for Castlemaine. Good play, Henderson. And it looks like it's fallen into the hands of Pedretti, who is just inside forward 50.
This
He'll
game is
kick it
over,
all
by
of
the
40
way.
metres.
You can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, Pedretti kicks this one. It'll bring it back to a 37-point margin. 43 it sits at the moment. 6 goals in modern footy is not out of the equation as Pedretti comes in. Has to put that one through.
Like that, Cam.
Swings in the breeze, and it goes through for a minor score to the near side. 13 goals, 10-88. Castlemaine have also got 10 behinds on the scoreboard, but they've only got 6 goals to go with that 10 behind, so they trail by 42 points. Score sponsor, JB Restumping.
Interestingly, no change in the kick-in duties. Are we going to kick it to Bryce Kerner, who normally kicks it in? So there you go. It worked, didn't it?
Off half back now, handball received. Walsh to McLean of the Dragons. Looks for Polprat. Hartley did well. Got a fist in there. He's probably held without the footy. Now he dives on top of the footy. Polprat's riding him like a pony. And umpire.
Oh, come on.
Is he going to pay? They don't usually pay them now.
That is terrible.
Oh, the other way.
It should have been a free kick to Hartley.
Yeah, holding on before the
He was literally riding him like a pony. As it's short pass goes inboard to Curnow, barely went the 15 metres. Now Curnow on right half forward, kicking the Golden Street end. He's got McLean who takes a mark, too far from home. Paul Pratt runs for him, handball forward. They're going to lose the footy. Hartley does well. Oh, he's going to get a free kick, Hartley, for sure. Oh, he's not. I gave the free kick to Hartley, but the umpire didn't. 88 playing 46. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. We've gone 10 minutes final term.
Bit concerned that Jake McLean didn't wash his shorts today.
Yeah, well, he didn't, did he? But unless
have a look at this Momo.
Throw in right in front of our broadcast position. Off hands. Tarju tried to emerge with it, fed out the handball, but it was stolen by Greaves, who's gone up onto the ball. Greaves out, finding its way forward through Murley. Murley down the line, Hickey taken over the boundary line. It's just building up some suspense there, John, as it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in centre wing position.
You've only called him about 58,000 times
I
this
knew who it
season.
was. I just couldn't put my name.
He's a good player. He's actually been relatively quiet compared to other games, Merley, hasn't he? He's had a long season.
Yeah, I won't comment after last time I told he was best on and you disagreed with me and changed my vote, and then he gets best on for the whole league.
No, he's been a good pick-up for Castlemaine. It's Coghlan now by hand to Paul Pratt. Handball forward. He was looking for Wilkinson, but geez, they're running in numbers. Tardru picked it up on half forward. Runs inside forward, 50. Goalward. Minor score. And just pushed it wide. 46 playing 88. 11 minutes gone. Final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. This term is sponsored by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine.
So I'll go with what we discussed earlier. So Noah Walsh, yes, would be a very good player to have a rest, and probably we would see maybe that later in the game, and maybe even Bryce Curnow. There'll be 3 that I'd take off.
So Darby Semmons will bring the ball back into play. He's going to play on. He'll have a bounce. Then he'll handball into the pocket for Brodie Byrne. Interesting decision. Why not just kick it? Byrne hands to Wilkinson. Back to Semmons. And Semmons' handball into traffic will be Greaves. We can find a way through. Now he gets it. They go backwards to go forwards. All the way back to Wilkinson, who eventually decides to kick it. And after all that, they probably wasted about 40 seconds and got the result they would have got if Semmons had just kicked it straight down the line. Murley gets it and handballs it forward. McConaughey emerges with it out the front of the pack. He'll send it up towards Shan. Free in front of him was able to punch it, but it spills to ground. Still free. Knocked it away from Shan on the second effort. Goes towards the boundary line. Shan kept it alive. No, he didn't. The boundary umpire says you did not. I'll throw it in.
And there's the difference once again that we mentioned earlier, where when the ball hits the ground, Castlemaine just fumbles at that little bit, that key moment where they need to take it clean. They fumble that ball.
So the umpire will throw it in. Hartley grabs it out and gives it to it, running John Watson by hand. Watson straightens up and goes goalward. It was a poor kick off the boot. He
kicked it like a back.
Never. Well, he's probably running too fast, I'd reckon. He just never looked like getting a... I don't even know if it's a score, is it? It might be out of bounds.
So it was a nice play, though, wasn't it?
It was. It was, he was just steaming through that
He's nearly the only
zone.
one. You know, off-season-wise, Castlemaine needs to probably find a few more John Watsons who have ability to run through lines.
Moments of reflection. Have we seen Liam Wilkinson for the last time today? He's getting on. He might well paddle up against next year, but I'm just not sure.
Tardru worked the kick up towards centre wing. It's turned over. Byrne, Wilkinson. I think Wilkinson's been very serviceable this afternoon. He'd be almost Castlemaine's best, I reckon, today.
He'd be...
That's a Henderson.
He'd be well into his 30s. I reckon he might be 36 even. That's
just a number, John. Henderson out to Semmons, and then Semmons will clear it even further wide. And right on cue is John Watson. John Watson wheels around on the right. A beautiful looking ball inside. Tardru came in from the side and spoiled what would have been a certain Castlemaine mark. Island then gets the handball, but he's fumbled it over the boundary line. No, it's stayed in. Sling go was there. McConaughey's kick was out of bounds on the full, but I think he kicked it from the car park before he got pinned for out of bounds on the full. Out of bounds on the full is the call. I repeat, out of bounds on the full is the call. It'll be Cooper Smith to bring the ball back into play. Boundary umpire just probably got caught behind the pack, I reckon, then.
Yeah, could have easily been a boundary throw-in, couldn't it?
So Smith, a contender this afternoon for our Bendigo City Framers Sponsors Award, $100 voucher. We'll discuss that after the game and award it. As just running through now here, McLean, he'll go long, inside forward 50, one-on-one, Fergus Green. Sutherland didn't have any chance then. It was just kicked nicely to him, Don. It was weighted, and he had the position, and he was never going to drop it, was he?
No, not at all. And if you have a look at that, it's a totally open forward line, one-on-one. It's pretty rare that you see it, but again, the power running from Sandhurst to break lines and get in behind Castlemaine's press, and then get Fergus Green one-on-one against his defender. And that was a beautiful kick from Jake McLean. Weighted perfectly, kicked to his advantage, and now we see him kicking from 30 out on a slight angle.
Doesn't make a mistake on this occasion.
He's done it beautifully.
He has. He's slotted it. So just extending the lead, 14-11-95, the Dragons. 6-10-46, Castlemaine. Midway through this final term. Score sponsor, Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, here's one for you. 80 goals for Fergus Green. Any chance he could crack 100 if he gets 3 looks at it in finals footy?
Well, season proper is...
They might only get 2 chances at it, though, because you'd think that if they get the first final, they're going to get the week off in round 1, they may go straight to a granny. But if he gets 3 chances at it, say they lose a final, he could be on for 100.
Yeah, could do, for sure. Yeah, never in doubt, because he's their key to score. You've got to win kick goals to win games of footy. And
I feel like come finals time as well, Dom, someone like him is just going to step it up to that next level as well.
Totally.
Coghlan handball to Nally, who's gone to the ruck for Sandhurst. It's emerged, though, through Murley. Murley's kick will just bounce out towards the boundary line in front of the canteen, which looks like it might be shut, or they've sold out of food or whatever's going on over there, but there's no one in line, so it might be a chance for me to run around and grab something to eat.
Well, you're fading away to a shadow, Cam, so I was going to suggest that, to be honest.
So on the flip side, John, Castlemaine's coaching staff, you'd probably want to flick a few magnets around to have a look, yeah. And they haven't done that. Like, the game's been gone all day, hasn't it? And they haven't really switched some magnets around and had a look at some different blokes. So,
particularly in the second half as well, once the game was gone. But we've got a free kick, have we, or a mark?
It was a mark, but the free kick's going to
come out with that ball. Lloyd Butcher, probably his first mark for the day.
But it's going to be, if the free kick was paid before Butcher took the mark.
You'd prefer it in this bloke's hands, just saying.
Well, he is a ruckman.
No, it's Brad Keogh.
No, but Butcher's a ruckman. So that's
what are you
why
saying about
prefer it in. Well, John's the one that called him dim-witted last week.
Oh,
so.
I didn't say that exactly. I just said that the oxygen in the blood took a little bit longer to get from the heart to the brain.
Also leading towards the quality of the kicker. So Brad's nailed that.
He has.
Nice
Brad's not a ruckman, so I expected him to kick the goal.
Don't misquote me, Cam. Don't misquote me.
Was it Jason that said that?
This is recorded, so no, it was you. I'm the first person I've heard it say it.
I'm pretty sure I was trying to back the ruckman up last week.
What is it? 7:10:52 Castlemaine, 14:11. 95 Sandhurst. Score sponsor Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, and we're approaching time on in the final term camp. Put Castlemaine out of the misery, and they'll go and celebrate a season that was pretty successful in a whole for the David McCann Memorial tonight.
Nally wins it down. They send it towards half forward. Wilkinson goes through. He's collected high by John Watson. So Wilkinson has the ball. 55 out. Watson's just smartly holding him up, but he handballs off. Cooper Smith from 50 will go goalwards. Cooper Smith has missed it. Big build-up for a minor score. And if he had kicked that, I was going to hand him the frame for our Bendigo City Best on Ground sponsor of the war, but he didn't, so it's still up for grabs. Someone impressed me in the last 10 minutes, and I might give you the award. Simmons will bring the ball back into play.
Has one bounce, trots away, then sends it to the creek side. Up they go in the ruck. A lot of players around the footy.
Speaking of that award, I don't think there's really been a standout today that could really say, yep, he was the best player on the ground by a while.
Well, I've got it pretty firm in my mind that Cooper Smith, when it was there to be won early, I mean, they did win it early, but to me, I don't know what you're thinking, Don, but he's got a few mates that are around him, but he seems to be the consistent one early on. We've been treading water now for the last 20 minutes or so, haven't we, really, in dead time?
Yeah, he's just solid and gives him plenty of run off half back. You can give him a chop out through the middle as well, but his ability to be able to read and time a run, and they always look for him as well, which that's a bonus. So, but part of that is he's always in the right position. So
correct. And they've got a lot of those players. And if it's not him, it's Walsh, and if it's not him, it's Hood, and if it's not him, it's Paul Pratt, and if it's not him, it's McLean. So they've got some good runners. As Murley wins it on the wing, but he kicked it directly to the opposition in Carraher of the Dragons. He'll come dangerously to Paul Pratt. Went at it one-handed. Probably should have went the double hand, but he's got support through Keating. Keating's got a running Smith, the man we just mentioned. Kicks it inside forward 50. Maxted was running with the ball, picks it up with one hand. Wilkinson did well with the tackle. A little hand by Maxted. Did well. Watson, good work, Keating. And he even did one of those tackles where he was conscious of the fact that his head might have hit the ground.
John Watson would be in contention if we were going to pick someone from
Castlemaine.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's had a good game.
He's been up and back, John Watson. So up and we
Wilkinson.
Go. Yeah. Hartley wins it down.
That's a free kick to him then.
Wilkinson emerged with it, couldn't quite get it. Keating was probably caught around the legs, and the umpire's going to pin him for holding the ball as he dived forward. The only way he could fall forward in a tackle like that is if he was wrapped around the legs, and that's exactly what happened. But John Watson receives the free kick. Maxted mans the mark. Watson's kick to Simmons is all right. Simmons takes the mark. He'll wheel around onto the right foot and send it out. Now they're away down the far wing here, the Magpies. It sits up for them, Pedretti. Pedretti fires it wide to Moran, who's on the ground. Moran will send it inside forward 50. No mark taken, but it spills to ground. It was Hickey down there trying to claim it. Sandhurst will clear it out of defence, and it'll end up in the hands of a Sandhurst defender out of there.
Right.
It looks like it'll be Lockie Wright. Lockie Wright goes to Carraher, who were right that time. And Carrahurt, who they call carrots around the club, will clear the kick across half-back to Liam Island.
Spreads it wide. It wasn't a horseshoe, but it was just a lateral movement to a running Tananelli, who's been relatively quiet. 2 bounces, trots down the wing past the timekeeper's box. Jingle Street side, sends it to half forward. Wilkinson got front position, did well. That's Liam for the Magpies, who's been serviceable this afternoon, as he always does when we see games, and we'll have a stoppage on right half forward.
Done a great job on Maxted.
For Sandhurst, he has.
Held him to 1 goal, so it definitely in.
Paul Pratt hurried kick now to 50 to Maxted. Running on there was Tardrew. He crosses the paint marker 50 and slams it home from 40 metres. And that was just like a training drill for Tardrew. He was in full flight and looked absolutely magnificent when he kicked that goal. 15-12-102. The Dragons, 7-10-52. The Magpies. Score sponsor, Westcott Builder. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Don Moran.
You coming to me? All right.
He's the comments man, not you, Cam.
Yeah.
I've had a useless stat for you, another one of you.
Yeah, well, keep your useless stats to yourself.
Yeah, don't encroach on his time.
So let's just... Lockie Tardrew, I know he's won this before, so I'm just going to throw it back on. And Smith's had a good game off half-back, but you can't go far away from him either. So
well,
Tardrew is got to be in the mix.
My useless stat is involving Lockie Tardrew. He'll be in the best players today, you would imagine.
Yep.
So 16 games played, 16 times in the best players for Sandhurst. When was the last time someone got named in the best players?
Mickelson contender,
You'd think he would probably win it, would he not?
Has to be.
I know Brad Benacki from Gisborne will be up there. I haven't seen a lot of him to see what he's been doing this year, but his stats seem to be putting up good numbers. But I think Lockie Tardrew, he's going to be pretty hard to run down on Mickelson medal night. And Sandhurst might claim a premiership, a Mickelson medal and a Ron Best medal winner at the end of the year. It's been one of those years as Slingo gets it and handballs it out wide for Hartley. Hartley will then chip it out to the wing and he'll find Moran, who dives after the kick just fell a bit shallow, but he was able to recover it. He'll send it up towards centre half forward.
Jackson
Over
Hood.
the back, Jackson Hood. Mark not paid. Must have come off hands and, well,
Unlucky.
I thought the mark probably should have been paid. It'll be a ball up. 55 out from goal.
Bailey Henderson will be in the mix with that. We're talking about Mickelson's. He has to be in the mix.
You would think so. But no, that performance by Tardrew. And when he's on, Don, he's on. Seriously, even his poor games, he's getting in the best players. And when I say poor games, you know, the relatively lesser, the quieter games.
Around the grounds in Bendigo footy and Gisborne, nearly 200 points clear of Kangaroo Flat. 35-14. 224 to Kangaroo Flat, 5-2-32.
Carrahurt, short pass in the back pocket.
That's 198 points in my math.
To Paul Pratt.
I think that's right.
Jeez, you know, you need to be in your best form coming into finals, and you know, looking here today, like Castlemaine's challenged Sandhurst, but geez, you can't go too far away.
To put it
from
into
200,
context,
200 point.
To put it
difference.
into context, Strathfield say are only 150 points clear of Maribyrnong.
Only. And what about the Bloods and Eagle Hawk? As Hartley takes a good strong mark, or the man in front, in fact, it might be. Sorry, Cam, I'll get back to you as the ball. Maxted out-marked Hartley. Now he's got a running Walsh. Walsh just slipped over at the wrong time. Might have been held without the footy with Henderson. Henderson did enough to make the play go on. Then he stands up with strength. Handballs over the top to Pedretti. Pedretti gets dragged to the ground. Turnover now. Ends up with Wright. It might be, in fact, Maxted. Looks for Fergus Green. Keeps his feet. Running onto the footy. Noah Walsh over the top by hand. Just gives another one to Joel Wharton, who's standing in the teeth of goal and has put it through for his 5th goal, and he could be a contender for the sponsors Bendigo City Framers as the score goes to 16-12-108 to Castlemaine 7-10-52. Don Moran.
He's got to be one of your faves. Left foot forward, 5 goals. It's not a bad return.
Not quite as good looking as I was, but you know, you can't have everything, I guess.
He's probably got more charisma.
Yeah. Probably a little bit funnier.
Full-time score in the Heathcote District Footy League, and a statement has been set. Whitehills 19-16, 130. North Bendigo 10-6-66. So
you thought that was going to be a close one.
I did expect that to be a close game. Whitehills will be into the grand final, and North Bendigo will move on next week, and they will play again against the winner of tomorrow's final between Leachville Gumbauer and Heathcote, which is being played at Whitehills. Ironically enough, as we're back here at the footy, Sandhurst have worked it up.
25-minute mark, Bryce Kerno's put the pool cue away, John.
Lockie Hood.
We mentioned him, didn't we?
We did.
Sent inside forward 50 by Keating, but it should be turned over to Bailey Henderson, who sat down in defence. He'll clear the kick out to Will Moran.
Moran, defensive arc of 50, looking to bring it down the creek side, the Frankie Byrne wing. Don, you've almost turned me around with Tardru. It'll be interesting to see which way that Cam jumps. It might be up to him in the long run, but that was a poor kick.
Yep, just ran out of room. He hit him, but yep, bit shy.
Out of bounds on the full.
That's 2 to Will.
So
in the old days, that used to be a slab of beer, John.
It would be. Well, if he's going to be there tonight at the Dave McCann effort, we might have to make sure that comes to fruition. As Paul Pratt, poor kick inside forward 50 to Maxted, made him work. He had to try to trap the footy, but Joel Wharton is there, and he gives it to Wilkinson. Up and under kick now, inside forward 50. Right was the target. Good defensive punch by Hartley, who's playing down back. Running onto it now is Matthew Wilkinson of the Dragons. Kicked it off the instep. He didn't look like a natural goal kicker when he was having a shot then. And you can tell, Don, as at the 26-minute mark, it's a minor score, 16-13, 109 Sandhurst, 7-10-52 the Magpies. And this quarter's going a long time. We're almost at 5 o'clock.
We've all gone long today.
Well, in that third quarter, we saw the last junk time in 5 minutes that they kicked it around and played a little bit of keepings off. So they seem to put their foot down, though. They haven't done that yet this quarter. So it's different, isn't it? We get up front, they attack. So let's see if Castlemaine can get them down the other end, down the club room's end, to put a bit of pressure on them and see what they do with this last 5 minutes.
The footy is being retrieved. It's a full-time score in the MCDFNL, and it is a boil-over. Trentham 14-5-89, 40-point winners over Harcourt 8-11-59. That shakes up the Maryborough Castlemaine Footy League finals big time. Trentham through to a prelim final. Harcourt will still alive. They're not out of it yet, but they face the next week of the finals. If Harcourt can get through, they will have to go the long route, which will involve the winner of Carisbrook and Maldon tomorrow. And I wouldn't want to be playing against Carisbrook if I was Harcourt. So it is an interesting scenario in the MCDFNL. A spanner or a cat has been thrown amongst the pigeons as McConaughey works the kick out wide. Watson will emerge with the ball. He'll send it up towards centre half forward. Sandhurst Island floats back in front, spills the ground. Murley emerges with it, sends it towards the top of the goal square. Keating from Sandhurst has probably been very good as well. He's almost in the conversation for that Bendigo City Framers Best on Ground Sponsors Award. I've really liked his game this afternoon.
Yes.
Not sure he'll win it, but I think he's in contention.
Get some feedback on the bit of a shout out to Peter McKnight. He must love his cheese twisties, I'd imagine, Don.
Sitting back out a cheese twisty and another twist and a top off one as well.
Yeah, as the ball's thrown in now. We're in dead time. Season over for the Magpies. Of course, Sandhurst will have a rest before they launch themselves at a final as Slingo wins it for Castlemaine and goes goalward. It slews off the side of the boot. Brody Byrne grabs the ball, and I reckon he slotted it through for an unlikely goal. I reckon it was a banana as well, Don. He's put it through, Brody and Byrne, won't he be a happy man? And he can tell us about it shortly as Castlemaine go to 8-10-58. Sandhurst 16-13, 109. Only a couple of minutes remaining in this final term. Score sponsor Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Brody will love that. He's played his whole year down back, and he's got the last 5 minutes of his year. They've put him up front, and he's kicked a absolute ripper, banana from just off the goalpost, and they'll get around him, and it's great to see him up front and kicking a goal late in the game.
Final score coming through from Shane Cole. You've probably given them already, Cam, when I just slipped out a minute ago. But White Hills, 19-16, 130 have defeated North Bendigo, 10-6, 66.
Well, Sandhurst have won the ball straight out of the middle. Wharton takes the mark. Handball's over the top to Maxted. Maxted goals.
Yeah.
Is there any easier way to call it than that?
It's sad, though.
Maxted puts in the goal, and Sandhurst just running away with this one now.
So
16-13, 109, 8-10-58. Well, we mentioned before that Wilkinson's done a good job on Maxted today.
Well,
now he gets 2 goals.
The mark then, Joel Wharton outmarked Ben McConaughey and Paul Liam Wilkinson. He's kept him to 1 goal all day. We're at 29-minute mark, and he's just been Joe the Goose over the top. And
junk time, though.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
But, still not good.
But
could have done better.
Impressive performance by the Dragons. They're marching towards September action here, as are Gisborne after absolutely pantsing Kangaroo Flat. As the Dragons will win it through the middle through Lockie Hood. He'll put it long inside forward 50 again. Right somehow juggles the ball, but Curno's back on, soccers the ball.
Deliberately, Cam.
Well, he was going for goal, wasn't he? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He puts it underneath the scoreboard. It reads...
Big miss then.
1-1-5. That's 115 Sandhurst. Castlemaine 58. 30 minutes have ticked over in this final term. This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Sorry, I wasn't watching actually. I was just filling out my final sheet for the MCDFNL. Harcourt going down, so they're into the next week against either Carisbrook or Malden.
Big surprise, isn't it?
40 points. That's a huge shock, so I'm sure Norm Jenkin might, he probably won't tell us all about it because he won't want to talk about it too much, I won't imagine. Over the boundary line, the kick goes up towards the wing, out of defence.
Well, I mentioned to Norm earlier today, how long can a team be up? I know you might have the players and you might have the fitness and whatever, but winning is all above the shoulders at times.
Well,
and you can't keep winning.
Carisbrook beat Malden tomorrow at Princess Park. Carisbrook Harcourt in the second week of the finals is a rematch of the grand final from last year.
Straight sets,
in the second week at the
potential?
finals. Oh, well, Carisbrook at their best, who knows?
So
I don't think Norm would come back and do finals commentary for us.
Curnow has a shot at goal from the boundary line, but a hold to Sutherland for the Magpies. He'll
Sorry, I
bring
forgot
it
there
out
was a game of footy going on here for a second.
from the defensive
Almost gave me a fright.
square to Pedretti of Castlemaine. Pedretti directing traffic. Now he'll kick it down the line, straight past our noses in the commentary box. Sponsored by the Little Red Apple and Simon in Harcourt. So get out there and get all your apple needs. As it's going to go a free kick the other way now. Let's see what happens with Ireland. Short pass.
Walsh.
That's nearly 50.
So Walsh now will then send it inside forward 50. Keating's out on a lead, just didn't quite, in fact it was Wilkinson, it carried over the back to him. Maxted to Coughlin. Coughlin will give it back to Wilkinson. Wilkinson just fumbled, good defence by Pedretti. Pedretti's handball out to Slingo. Slingo's under pressure as well. And they're still fighting away down there. Eventually Slingo emerges with it and just bustles his way out of there before sending it out wide. And a good mark taken by Hood.
That's Jackson Hood. 22 of the Magpies as opposed to 22 Hood of the Dragons. Oh, hit with force. It might have been Connick that's hit Murley. Didn't even get 50 for it. Defensive side of the wing. He crosses it from one wing to the other and hits up Sutherland of the Magpies. On the left, he's made Simmons work. Simmons has been serviceable this afternoon. He's been a good addition for the Magpies this year. I hope he goes on with the Magpies along with Cal Huntley. Now he goes inside forward 50. And a mark's been taken by Keogh, so good clunk, good hands there, Don.
Yeah, it was a nice release from Derby, and Brad Keogh did everything he needed to do is to mark that. So he is a good kick. I'm going to back him in, John, late in the game. Might get an after-siren shot.
If he wanted to, he could sit down with the opposition that are in the opposition coach's box. That's where he is here at the Camp Reserve as the siren sounds. Now, they're saying he played on, he didn't. He just took a couple of steps forward. So he's going to have a kick on the siren. He can't deviate. He'd have to pay admission to get back in if he's that far wide. He goes up and under and goalward and kicked the goal.
And he let him know too. Good on you, Bradley.
He did.
Good on you.
What a magnificent kick to finish the season and finish the game from Bradley Keogh. He launched it from 55 and slotted it. Don, I can't get any better than that. And that takes Castlemaine to a final score. They have been beat 9-10-64 convincingly, but not smashed out of the ballpark like previous years. Sandhurst 17-13, 1-1-5. Score sponsors, I'll run through them this afternoon. Don Smallgood is Don is Castlemaine. Jason Westcott Builder, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Bendigo City Framers, Parsons Towing, JB Restumping, Rural and Outdoors, Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was a nice finish, wasn't it? He's a great kick, Brad, and nothing better after the siren to slot it in front of their coach's box too, isn't it? And there's a fair crowd there, and with wearing Sandhurst gear, and he managed to give him a bit of a point and let him know that he slotted the last one for Castlemaine season.
Do you reckon that they'll just be saying we'll see you next week, champ?
Oh, probably, but it's a nice thing.
I don't reckon you would you?
I would.
You've got to be pretty humble, and I think Sandhurst are pretty humble sort of team.
There are probably times for it, Cam, but not today. Not in that circumstance. I wouldn't have thought. You might have been a bit cheeky, but I wouldn't say. You wouldn't say that, would you?
No, not at all. But as we look at the result, we talked about performance from Castlemaine today. Just patchy. and you can see that they're coming, but they're a little bit away from it, and a little bit of polish lacking there, whereas Sandhurst have that polish, that midfield machine that they seem to have, and their power running from half back is pretty impressive. So that'll lead into UCAM with Cooper Smith, and a bit of a chat about maybe who's in the running for the award today.
Well, are we going to announce that one now, or are we going to have a think about it over the break and then we come back and...
I don't know. Up to you. Throw around and then have a chat.
You're in charge just at the moment, so we're right on 5 o'clock, so let's probably have a little bit of a think about it. We'll come back and we'll round up some scores for the final round of 2024.
Start us off then, Johnny Hunter. Give us your nomination, the who, what, when and why.
Well, I think I put together a pretty good case for Cooper Smith. And I think I'll probably stick with my gut reaction, because Lockie Tardrew, you nearly talked me around, Don, but I just thought consistency-wise in those 3 quarters, Cooper Smith was really, really reliable. And I reckon at quarter time, when I even mentioned, might have been half time, whenever he gets the footy, I just feel like he's going to be ever reliable. And as good as Tardrew was, probably not the influence he has had in previous games, and he did have some quieter moments. So apologies for mine to him, but Tardrew, but I'm going to go this afternoon with Cooper Smith, number 28 for the Dragons, for our Bendigo City Framers Sponsorship Award $100 voucher.
Don Moran, I think you're going to make me...
Looking at the opposition...
I think you're going to make me a one-person vote to... You're going to go with someone different, I believe.
I just got a bit of a shout out for the Castlemaine side. I thought Liam Wilkinson was solid all day. We talked about whether he's going to go around next year, but on you're only as good as your last game is the old cliche in footy, and he's got to be happy with his last game. So just a shout out to Liam. I thought he'd be in the mix. Maybe if the result was a little bit closer, we could probably throw him in there. You've heard me all day talk about Lockie Tardrew's efficiency and his contested ball wins. I know we aren't privy to seeing stats and stuff, but it'll be great to see how they look. He's had a consistent season, but yeah, I'm happy with going with Cooper Smith. His run off half-back link-up, ability to time his run, and his ball usage has been great today as well.
Well, Cam, we promise we won't try to influence you over the break. So how about you come back after the break, after what and then you'll decide it. Last time I think we probably bullied you into it during the break. So
yeah, I was quite disappointed. I had someone in mind that last time we were here for Castlemaine.
Right.
What about you, Cam?
It was Xavier Murley who I wanted to go with that day, and you convinced me, no, we won't go with him. And then I look on
the so weak, then.
Bendigo Football League page during the week.
Stand up for yourself, lad.
And he received the best on ground for the whole league. Anyway, let's have a look at what else has gone on in Bendigo footy. And, well, if you're a Gisborne supporter, the only reason you'd be disappointed is because they fell 3 points short of a 200-point win. 37-14, 236 to Kangaroo Flat, 6-3, 39. All final scores as well. It was Strathfield say 25-27.